From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. I want to thank you for tuning into the program today. Whether you are listening on the radio or tuning in at 953mnc.com, or if you've downloaded the free 95.3 MNC app where you can stream all of our programming, plus you can get news and all of that amazing stuff right there on the website, or the app, I should say. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Watching the show on the live streams, we just appreciate the support. I would like to thank our sponsor, and that would be RB Car Company, RNB Car Company. They're located at rbcarcompany.com. They have locations in South Bend and Warsaw. And, of course, if you're looking for a used vehicle, they are the best place to go, rbcarcompany.com. Cue me audio, Mr. Yusuf. All right, this is the debate. 3 minutes and 40 seconds, if you could even really call it a debate.
Progressive ideas are popular ideas, even if there are a lot of people on this stage who don't want to say so.
It adds up to 4 more years of Donald Trump, Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House, and the inability to get the Senate into Democratic hands. The time has come for us to stop acting like the presidency is the only office that matters. Not only is this a way to get Donald Trump reelected, we got a House to worry about.
If we spend the next 4 months tearing our party apart, we're going to watch Donald Trump spend the next 4 years tearing our country apart.
Because let's talk about what it adds up to. But we don't. Let's talk about math indeed. Okay, so here's the math. No, here's the math.
Can I respond to
doing nothing is what will happen.
Senator Sanders, you're allowed a quick response, and then we would like to allow the other candidate.
Moderator,
Senator Sanders.
Can anybody in this room imagine moderate Republicans going over and voting for him? And you have to do that or you can't win.
Imagine spending the better part of 2020 with Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump. Think about what that will be like for this country.
You talk about what we're talking about with Bernie. Bernie, in fact, hasn't passed much of anything. The fact of the matter is, but I get to answer that. I get to answer that. Look, the fact is, here's the deal. I'm not out of time. You spoke over time, and I'm going to talk.
It matters. It matters if you can actually get things done. It is not just who talks the best, who actually gets things done.
Who funded Lindsey Graham's campaign for re-election last time? It was Mayor Bloomberg. And that's not the only right-wing senator that Mayor Bloomberg has funded. In 2016, he dumped $12 million into the Pennsylvania Senate race to help reelect an anti-choice right-wing Republican senator. And I just want to say, the woman challenger was terrific. She lost by a single point. In 2012, he scooped in to try to defend another Republican senator against a woman challenger. That was me. It didn't work, but he tried hard.
I think that Donald Trump thinks it would be better if he's president. I do not think so. Vladimir Putin thinks that Donald Trump should be president of the United States, and that's why Russia is helping you get elected, so you'll lose to him.
And let me tell Mr. Putin, who interfered in the 2016 election, try to bring Americans against Americans. Hey, Mr. Putin, if I'm president of the United States, trust me, you're not going to interfere in any more American elections.
My entire career has been wrapped up in dealing with civil rights and civil liberties. I don't expect anything. I plan to earn the vote. I'm here to ask. I'm here to earn it.
I know that if I were black, my success would have been a lot harder to achieve. And I know a lot of black people that if they were white, it would have been a lot easier for them. That's just a fact, and we've got to do something about it than rather just demagogue about it.
I have a housing plan, and what it has in it specifically is a piece to deal with the effects of redlining. We can no longer pretend that everything is race neutral. We have got to address race consciously what's happening in this country.
See, all of these things are connected. Housing, wages, the ability to get anything meaningful done on criminal justice reform. All of these things are going to be harder to deal with as long as black voices are systematically excluded.
Okay, so that was essentially the so-called debate last night. And if you watched it, There's a lot of yelling, a lot of the moderators losing control of everything, and people bickering. But I wanted to address the most important thing about the debate last night. And I'm just trying to find the shot here on the actual video that I'm looking at. There we go. That's the shot. That's the shot that I want to see right there. The most important thing about the debate yesterday is that nobody stood on a box. But Amy Klobuchar, who lists herself at 5'4" tall, is wearing flats, and she is taller than Michael Bloomberg. I am staring at a full... Come here, right now. Joe, come here. I am staring at a full frontal shot. Bloomberg's there. He's not on a box. Klobuchar's there wearing flats. She's not on a box. And she lists herself at 5'4", and she is taller than that guy right there. This dude's 5'8". I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, I am just saying, there is some height shenanigans happening in the Democratic field. Joe just saw it.
That is, oh my.
Did anybody address that on social media yesterday? I didn't live tweet this.
I didn't see anything on it.
I am staring at a live shot. Now, when you look at the side shot, she's wearing flats, but I suppose it is possible that they're flats that have a built-in heel or something like that. Okay, hold on. Here's the get Tom.
But it's not like 5 inches though. There's no way.
No, they would be 1 to 2 inches maybe.
Yeah.
So that would bring her up to 5'5", maybe 5'6".
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, she's taller than Bloomberg. And Bloomberg's running around going, no, I'm 5'8.5". No, you're not. You are not. Oh my God. That's the most important analysis of last night's debate that you could possibly get. What else do we have there? Let's see. Oh, you know what? I've got one for you. Here. I want you to listen to this too. All right, you ready? I'm going to cue up my audio. This is Elizabeth Warren. Now, I want you to all understand something. This has already fallen apart and been debunked, and she's still making the claim.
Yeah. Mr. Vice President?
I was mentioned in this.
No.
I'd like to respond.
Go ahead, Senator.
He called me out by name in this, and referred to what I talk about as a sideshow. You know, this is personal for me. When I was 21 years old, I got my first job as a special education teacher. I loved that job. And by the end of the first year, I was visibly pregnant. The principal wished me luck and gave my job to someone else. Pregnancy discrimination, you bet. But I was 21 years old. I didn't have a union to protect me, and I didn't have any federal law on my side.
And she's lying. She's still running around telling people that she was fired for being pregnant after all of these years of her admitting that she wasn't. She chose to leave. That was her choice. She wasn't fired. She wrote it herself. She's still saying it. But that wasn't the biggest doozy of the night. Without a doubt, this is the biggest lie of the night. I want you to pay very close attention to what Joe Biden, who says he's running for U.S. Senate, I want you to pay very close attention. Oh, you haven't heard that soundbite yet. You haven't heard the soundbite about Joe Biden? I'm Joe Biden, and I'm running for United States Senate. Okay. Joe Biden, who's running for United States Senate, had the biggest whopper of the night. I want you to pay very, very close attention to what Joe Biden says here. See if you spot anything wrong there, Joe.
Vegas, we could go on and on. Vice President Biden, I want to start with you. Why should anyone have faith that you're the one who can get this done now?
Because I'm the only one that ever got it done nationally. I beat the NRA twice. I got assault weapons banned. I got magazines that could not hold more than 10 rounds in them. I got them eliminated, except we had a thing called an election with hanging chads in Florida, and it was not reauthorized. In addition to that, I passed the Brady bill with waiting periods. I led that fight. But my friend to my right and others have, in fact, also given to the gun manufacturers absolute immunity. Imagine if I stood here and said we give immunity to drug companies, we give immunity to tobacco companies. That has caused carnage on our streets. 150 million people have been killed since 2007 when Bernie voted to exempt the gun manufacturers from liability.
Hey, Joe. How many people are in the United States of America? Ballpark?
I'd say somewhere around Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, about 330, 340 million.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Not
That makes
counting.
sense.
Yeah, not counting illegal immigrants. So, since 2007, half of the population has been killed by gun crime.
Really? That's
Now
that's interesting.
Now, hold on. Do you think the way that old Uncle Joe said that, do you think that was just a slip of the tongue? Because he seemed pretty convicted in what he was saying. He sounded like, I know this issue, okay? 150 million people have died from gun crime since 2007. Well, no wonder our birth rate is so low. It's not even remotely close. There's about 23,000 people die every year from firearms. 2/3 of those are suicides. 150 million people since 2007, he says. Well, I suppose the biggest question that I would have there is why didn't he and his good buddy Barack Obama fix that problem? And you can't say it was the NRA because remember they had a super majority for a couple of years there, and 150 million people have been killed with gun violence since 2007, which is a total lie. It's absolutely and completely untrue. It's demonstrably so. It is undeniably so. But he said it anyway. And, hey, that's just Uncle Joe. All right, so Michael Bloomberg, he had a pretty interesting defense of himself after Elizabeth Warren attacked him. And I want to go ahead and play that for you in just a little bit. I also will play for you the audio where Joe Biden tells everybody he's running for United States Senate. He did that this week. And it's good to know that he is not at all confused about what he is doing. We got more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 26 years of 2011 to 2007, 2011. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
It's actually gone down, which we know.
Yep.
In 2007, it was 12.5, 12.1, 11.5, 11 even, and 11.1 thousand. That's Bureau of Justice.
Yep. 150 million people.
So I guess from 2012 to now, it's just skyrocketed.
It's been awful. Yeah, it's been totally awful. Yeah.
Number of homicides by firearm 2016.
150 million people.
Yeah, it might break a million.
And the ABCD
to 2006 to 2017.
I mean, if you're about 10,000 to 11,000 homicides per year for a decade, yeah, you'll. Well, no, you mean no, because that's 100,000, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's not a million.
That's a few.
Yeah. He's several tens of millions off. But he was close.
It's the thought that counts, Casey.
He was close.
You have e-cig works,
Oh, brother. Yeah, Senator Warren still lying about her thing as a teacher. Still lying about it. Gotta love it. There's dedication there. I will give them that. There is dedication. All right, YouTube dimensions. I gotta change the dimensions on this video I'm trying to embed. Hold on a second, folks.
I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant will pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses.
There we go. That's better.
I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 574-294-5678 for a cash offer today. That's 294-5678.
If you're looking for a position in the #1 rated 2020 Indiana Best Nursing
I gotta
Home,
pull up the
ranked
Biden
by
video
Newsweek,
because I
which
gotta
includes the area's highest
sketch through it.
staff-to-resident ratio, or you can provide people with compassionate care
Turn that
and
off.
comprehensive services, HealthWin is looking for you. Come
Good.
and apply for HealthWin's featured jobs of the week. Immediate openings for certified nursing assistants,
Okay.
full-time and part-time, all shifts. Also, immediate openings for nurses, flexible schedules available. Apply in person at 20531 Darden Road in South Bend, or go online to healthwin.org.
I mean, he was pretty convicted in his whole 150 million people have died. It wasn't a stammer or a stumble or anything.
If you would like to work for a company with a great employee
Is there a documentary film crew following his campaign around? Because I would love to get the reaction of his staff at all of these events when he says anything. You could make a 3-hour documentary of his staff just going, oh, Jesus. Oh, boy. Issue a statement, issue a clarification, issue a correction.
Yeah, that's right. We have so many vehicles, we're running out of places to park. We have a tremendous offering of new Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, Dodge, Buick, and GMC models. We only stock the best and most desirable from these premium brands.
Well, if you're looking at gun fatalities per year, you go to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, and I think last year what they said was 23,000 total gun deaths. And now, like 2/3 of that are suicide. So basically every year, 1/3 of gun deaths are homicides, and those are non-justifiable homicides. So.
Shop the inventory right now at LockMondayMotors.com. I'm Dave Anderson. And I'm Greg Slabaugh. Visit Lock Monday Motors in Elkhart, a tradition of caring since 1954.
This is Major Amy Hoover of the Indiana National Guard. Being in the Army National Guard is about more than serving your country. It's about being there for your community as a military first responder.
Well, no, see, Virginia, she said that it was pregnancy discrimination now, when in fact it wasn't pregnancy discrimination. I get what you're trying to say. She was trying to spin it a little bit there, but yeah, no, she still walked into it. It's a lie. Holy moly. All right, here we go.
Easy.
Yep.
Weather, weekday mornings 5 till 9 on 95.3 MNC.
Joe totally did not go look for Ozzy Osbourne Crazy Train when we're talking about the debate. That was not planned at all, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to let you know about Natural's CBD Lotion. Of course, the CBD Lotion is an amazing product. If you have minor aches and pains, fibromyalgia, if you have any kind of a muscle ache that you deal with on a semi-regular basis, or if you go to the gym, or if you have arthritis, okay, this is a perfect product for you. That way you're not taking dope and drugs and pharmaceuticals and things like that, which obviously have tremendously negative side effects and can lead to dependency. This is a product that is not going to get you high. It's not going to fail any drug tests or anything like that. There's no THC in the product. But if you go to allnaturalcbd.org, you can pick up a bottle of the Natural CBD Lotion. Now, you can get in 3 different concentrations. You get 250 milligrams, 500 milligrams, or the all-new 1,000 milligrams. They come in unscented and lavender. It is entirely up to you what you get. And you can also buy a 3-pack. In the 3-pack, you will save money by bundling 3, and then, of course, you get the discount, which is KC10. And that's your promo code, which saves you 10%. Also, check out the brand new Tincture Drops. Those are CBD drops. They go under your tongue. You hold them there for about 20 seconds. They are absorbed much faster into the body than any of the other products are. And again, full spectrum CBD. These are American products made in the United States of America, veteran-owned company. And you save money when you use my promo code. Again, go to allnaturalcbd.org, promo code KC10. Okay, so we're talking about the debate. Michael Bloomberg said something quite interesting. Now, you heard Elizabeth Warren in the 3-minute, 40-second summary of the debate / shout fest that happened last night. And she said, you know what, Bloomberg keeps funding all of these people and these Republicans and these horrible people like Lindsey Graham. You have to understand something. Lindsey Graham, prior to a year and a half ago, Lindsey Graham was as likely to lean left as right. He did basically whatever John McCain told him to do. And John McCain would often vote against conservative interests in the Senate. So, it wouldn't be unheard of to see somebody who's on the political left voting for Lindsey Graham, because Lindsey Graham could be influenced to go left on a regular basis. Lindsey Graham has only recently, after McCain's death, started to veer right, okay? And he still does veer left a lot. In fact, there's a really good article yesterday that says, Lindsey Graham still hasn't opened this FISA abuse probe. What's going on with that? And it's a very good point. So anyway, this is Michael Bloomberg responding to Elizabeth Warren saying he keeps funding Republicans. What is wrong with this guy?
Let's just go on the record. They talked about 40 Democrats. 21 of those were people that I spent $100 million to help elect. All of the new Democrats that came in and put Nancy Pelosi in charge and gave the Congress the ability to control this president, I got them. Number two.
He was trying to say, sorry, I went to, it skipped right over into a Super Bowl thing where we get to see J-Lo grab her crotch on national television. But, totally not inappropriate at all. So anyway, he's bringing up the point. He's like, wait a minute, hold on a second. 21 of those Democrats that went into Congress, I funded them. I funded them. And I'm responsible for them getting in Congress and giving the House of Representatives back to the Democrats. So he had an interesting defense of himself, but he had that little slip where I bought them. You have to understand something. When you're a billionaire, you buy people. I got news for you. When you're a millionaire, you buy people. Donald Trump has freely admitted that he bought people. Okay, there's no doubt about it. This is politics. You can be bought. I've told you before, with enough money, I can be bought. Okay, if you want to buy my opinion, you want me to support Bloomberg tomorrow? Bloomberg, I will send you my address, okay? It comes with a high price tag, like $1 million. And I will support Bloomberg for president tomorrow, as soon as the check cashes. What? Go ahead, say it.
Just really
Yeah, I had to. I mean, I can't do Dr. Evil's voice, but yeah, I had to do the pinky thing. People on the live stream got to see me do the pinky thing for the Dr. Evil thing. That was a great scene. I mean, that's movie lore right there. $1 million. Like, wait a minute. I walk around with $1 million. It's like $1 million is not a lot of money anymore. Anyway, this is Joe Biden. He was at an event. I don't know what the event was for. I don't know. I think he was promoting some Senate candidate or something. I don't care. This is Joe Biden letting everybody know that he is running for United States Senate.
Bill Clinton to the presidency.
Yes.
And you're the ones that sent Barack Obama the presidency. And I have a simple proposition here.
Yeah.
I'm here to ask you for your help. Where I come from, you don't get far unless you ask. My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Look me over. If you'd like to see, help out. If not, vote for the other by. Give me.
Now, he sounded really good.
Week.
He sounded really good up until Senate. And then
he hasn't even been in the Senate in a long time. It's not like you can say, well, he's a U.S. senator and he's used to running for re-election as a senator, and so it's a little flub. The dude's been the vice president for 8 years.
12 years.
Almost.
Yeah. That's
here's the thing. I gave this advice to the Democrats yesterday. The reason that Bernie Sanders is winning is because all of these other Steyer was on the stage yesterday. And you know how many people I saw tweeting out this morning when I was looking at it going, who the heck is this guy on the other end? Who is this dude? Right. Yeah. Here's the thing. He spent a lot of money in Nevada and he didn't get anything. He's spending a lot of money in South Carolina too, and he won't get anything in South Carolina. But anyway, maybe he will. Who knows? So you've got all of these Democrats who are still in this race, every single one of them pitching a fit that Bernie Sanders is the front runner, and we have to do what we can do to keep Bernie Sanders from winning this thing. Yeah, all of you except for one drop out. That's it. Bernie Sanders has not gotten over 50% of the vote in any of the contests, but he has won the popular vote out of all of them. And I'm willing to bet that if you dwindle down the other 20 candidates down to one, I'm willing to bet they have a fighting chance against Bernie Sanders in these contests. But you didn't do that. By the way, same argument I made about Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was going against just Ted Cruz, I'm sorry, Ted Cruz probably smokes him. But he wasn't going against just Ted Cruz. He was going against a massive field of people who split the vote and ultimately ended up being a good thing for the Republicans because Donald Trump won that thing, and I think he's been a good president. But beyond that, the guy right now that you're looking at, ladies and gentlemen, just released a spending plan on how he's going to pay for Medicare for all, and it leaves a $25 trillion hole. Here's how I'm going to pay for all of my social programs. And then you add it up. Okay, you got all of the Bernie bros out there going, see, he has a plan to pay for it, because the one criticism is, how the heck are you going to pay for this thing? And you go out there and you look at the proposals that he's released, and you find out, oh, he's $25 trillion short. Yeah, that's not going to work, okay? Bernie supporters are not great at math. They're great at optimism, I'll give them that, but they are not great at math. And you got Joe Biden has no idea what race he's even in. You got Pete Buttigieg out there who can't connect with anybody other than the pastiest of white liberals who has race issues in his campaign. Elizabeth Warren is still literally lying about her background on the stage last night as I speak. And you got Steyer, who? You got Klobuchar out there who hasn't done anything anywhere, okay? She's got no polling whatsoever, and she's pitching a fit about Bernie being the nominee. All of these people out there, look, just condense yourself down into one person. I'm willing to bet you got a fighting chance. Well, it's too late now, but I'm just saying. Had they done that, Bernie Sanders would not be the front runner. And look, people have asked me, Casey, why do you keep pushing Bernie and everything else? This is my position from the last election, okay? I would love to see Trump, the ultimate capitalist, versus Bernie Sanders, the ultimate American socialist/communist. Because I think, frankly, the United States needs this battle. This is celebrity deathmatch. Do we want capitalism or do we want socialism? That's it. And if we're at a point where socialism can win this thing, then I'm sorry, folks, America's gone. All right? And I don't think that is the case. But yeah, I would like to see that. You're going to have a capitalist versus a socialist fighting it out, and the ideology will be capitalism versus socialism on full display for anyone. I don't care that Democrats have to carry the socialist label. That's all down the road. I just want to see the ideological fight with the American people over capitalism versus socialism and see where they land. That's what I want to see. And frankly, look, these people, they have not had any kind of a notion of what socialism or communism really is. Young people have not seen it implemented in the real world other than Venezuela, which they're convinced is a fluke. Even though Venezuela turned out exactly like every other socialist and communist country in the history of the world. Did you see that Venezuela has declared an energy crisis? One of the most energy-rich nations on earth. They have declared an energy crisis this last week. They have more oil than 99% of the world. How do you have an energy crisis? Communism. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
NNC.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
System snow is expected to wrap things up this evening, but Emily Kennedy at ABC 57 says
One.
Okay,
Time's up.
This guy called saying he just want to let you know because he said he would be willing to take $1 million or something.
To take what?
Take $1 million to vote.
Oh, yeah.
He was just like, well, that can get him kicked off the air.
No, it can't.
And I was just like, get him kicked off. He's like, well, it just sounds like he's open to bribery. He's like, I wouldn't want to listen to someone like that. He's like, but I really love him. I thought I would let him know because I don't want to see him not on the air. And I'm like,
no, I can't take payola, but I can take bribes. I'm allowed to take bribes.
Yeah. Most people call in sometimes like, you guys are calling me really like the business like this. Like,
you're the one that can change my mind, Taylor. Yeah. You.
I'm just like, okay. But I thought I would let you know because
that's so funny. Oh my God.
You on air about it, and I was like, if they're not taking phone calls, they're not taking.
Hey, you can call on Friday. Yeah, I got open lines on Friday. You can call. No, payola's bad. Bribery is good. Yes. You want to pay me to change my opinion about something? Look, I'll give you my address.
This is what we can do. We can, come up with something.
Totally, 100%. All right. I don't know if you guys heard that, but somebody called the station, and they they were really concerned that I could be bribed, and they said that I could lose my job and get thrown off the air for taking bribes. No, I can't. Oh, God. That's funny. Now, I'm not allowed to do payola, which is where you pay me without being an official sponsor, and then I promote your business or something. You can't do that. That's illegal. That's highly illegal. But I can absolutely take money to change my opinion. Absolutely. Oh, boy. Gotta love it. There's only 18 thumb ups. I got 56 people watching this bad boy right now. I need some more thumbs. Give me some thumbs. Give me your thumb. Pay me off with your thumbs. That's what I need.
Lunch or dinner? Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Oh, I need to share the link, the official link, ladies and gentlemen, to join me for my Irish ale and whiskey dinner. Go ahead and reserve your spot today. It is a 4-course meal with dessert, by the way. It's going to be at Tippecanoe Place. So it's going to be at the old Studebaker Mansion, which is phenomenal. But it's a great brewery. And, of course, we got Irish whiskey pairings and things like that with the food. So go check it out. Buy your tickets.
If you're looking for additional profit per acre, IOM Grain buys high-quality, non-GMO food-grade soybeans. Do the math, harvest the profit. Call 260-726-6224 or visit IOMgrain.com. Corn continues to struggle. It hasn't posted 2 positive days in a row.
Somebody says that Klobuchar was on a box. Well, what I saw wasn't the box.
Beans got a bit of a bump today from soy meal.
Casey, this was the worst 2 hours I've ever seen on TV. I was choking on my own rage. It was a clown show. Ouch.
April live cattle off 60, 112.35, and up 47 on April lean hogs, 65.15. I'm Eric Pfeiffer. This is Hoosier Ag Today, Indiana's Farm Network.
Powered by Modern Kitchen, creating your dream living spaces so you can redesign.
The title of my stream is "The Debate Was So Bad the CDC Wants Us All to Die," which I thought was really clever. Speaking of, we get to talk about this CDC. Oh, I gotta look at the markets because the markets rallied again today. Excuse me. I just pulled a Buttigieg and burped all over you. So you can tell I'm 3 days into the diet because here's what happens in your first 2 days. The first 2 days suck, okay? They just do. You're really thirsty, you're hungry, that's when your cravings are still there, and your normal hunger chart is there. And then usually 3-4 days into it, you don't have that hunger anymore. You're still thirsty because you're taking in probably more salt than you're used to. But you're not really hungry and your bloating goes away. And for me, it's usually 2 to 3 days that my acid reflux is gone. And I woke up today and didn't need to eat. I forced myself to have 2 high-quality beef sausages on my way into work just so I had something in my belly. And I am absolutely not hungry. Not at all. And that's all I've had today, that and coffee. So I'll be starving tonight. But again, carnivore diet, usually eat twice a day. And if you can, you get down to 1 a day. So you have that kind of like an intermittent fasting sort of a thing happening as well. So you can tell I'm 3 days into it. No cravings, nothing. Just you turn from living to eat to eating to live. Yo.
Hey, are we on the air?
You are on camera, yeah. Do you need me to turn it off?
We're on the waves. Yeah, just for a second.
Okay, I'm going to turn it off. Just a second. John wants to yell at me again.
No, I don't want to yell at you.
Sure.
Wow.
I know. Look at that, right? Look at that.
Really good.
Than a leading premium paint in satin sheen. Ranges from 24 to 50%, depending on sheen selected. Platinum Plus keeps your walls looking new longer. Menards and Dutch Boy Paint have you covered. Go ahead, live your life.
Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Savings or mail-in rebate. See store for details.
Oh, so I guess they did rally and then they dipped back down again. Let's see here. S&P 500 is minus 4.41. I mean, they're pretty close to even. So they basically bounced back to even. They lost a little bit today.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. I would like to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. Casey, this was the worst 2 hours I have seen on TV. I was choking on my rage. This was a clown show, to say the least. Yeah, the debate did not get good reviews yesterday at all. And if you looked at the Democrats and the media, too, they didn't like it. So it's pretty much been the same thing. Look, the last debate was actually really good. It was entertaining. You know, it took them 9 tries to get an entertaining one, and that was all they had. You're getting to the point where everybody is desperate now. Everybody is desperate. Everybody has to kill Bernie, figuratively, of course. And it's not working. Okay, it's just not working. You're splitting the vote too much. It's just not working. Casey, she stood on a box at the very beginning. The candidates were walking about, and there was a box. I'm telling you, there was no box when I looked at the side shot. She was standing on the same floor as everybody else. So I don't know. I did not see a box. If there was a box in that shot, it was invisible, and I couldn't see it, which I am willing to admit is a possibility if CBS had a really high-quality box that blended with the stage. I'm willing to admit that, but you could not see a box when she was standing, okay? Regardless, he's not 5'8", he's 5'6". Anyway, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. I watched the entire, it's funny, some of you on the, Alex particularly, on the live stream watching on YouTube right now, noticed that we had a very interesting outrage today from the people. Again, look, the Democrats and the media have been pushing this narrative that Donald Trump has not been doing anything about coronavirus. It's not true. They brought up the old myth about closing down the pandemic programs, which was a complete distortion of what actually happened. We covered that when the news broke about that. I don't need to go over the details. But the CDC, their press conference yesterday, didn't make a lot of sense. You know, I've pointed that out. And if the CDC is really fearful of something, then they haven't told us why they're fearful of it. And if you're going to have a change in messaging from calm down, we're good, everything's fine, pay attention to it, but no need to be afraid. If you're going to change that messaging to all of a sudden we're all going to die and you shouldn't go to school, you shouldn't go to work, you shouldn't go to meetings, you'd better be able to tell us why. And the CDC didn't tell us why. And I'm looking at the numbers again today. In the last 24 hours, there's been an increase of 630 cases, which is the third straight day that we have had a reduction in the number of increase in cases. We're just over 81,000 infected right now. The recovery rate has gone up. 30,066 have recovered, 37.12% recovery rate. The fatality rate is still 3.41%. Everybody's still giving you the wrong fatality rate because of a couple of days ago it was 2.5%. It is 3.41%, which is bad, okay? That is a bad fatality rate for a virus like this. And again, the risk is to third world countries. South Korea has had the biggest increase in cases, okay? South Korea, which was at around 800, they now have 1,146 cases of the coronavirus. The United States has gone up a little bit from 33 to 57. That's where we're at. Japan, again, is 861, but Japan is stable. Most of those are on that cruise ship. Italy is stable now as well, 322. So that increase that we had over the weekend appears to have stabilized. So 630 new cases in the past 24 hours, which is a reduction that we have had. I think yesterday when I told you that there was less people infected, I think that might have been an anomaly. I don't know for sure. Based on the data trackers, that may have been an anomaly. But we went from having 2,100 or more per day increase in infections to having 750 at the beginning of the week, and now we're at 630. So the number just keeps going down, okay? So as the number keeps going down, the messaging should be the virus spreading around is slowing, all right? So that's good news. The quarantine measures are working globally. We're having some progress here. We've got a large number of people that are now recovering from this thing, and the CDC should also point out that there's only been 2 person-to-person cases in the United States. They shouldn't be telling you not to go to work, okay? That doesn't make any sense unless they have data that suggests otherwise, but they didn't give us any. And if that's the case, why are you not telling us why the messaging is changing? And so now this has led to the myths that Donald Trump has not reacted to the virus, which is all seems to be politically timed, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But at the same time, people are really outraged at the president today because the president used an A instead of an O in the coronavirus. God forbid he should misspell the same thing that half of the people tweeting about it misspell. God forbid. Well, he's the president. He should know better. Or, whatever. He misspelled it. You should be outraged that the CDC is telling everybody not to go to work and not go to school, and without providing any reason why. That should have been the outrage, not the president's spelling, which, again, half of the people tweeting about it spell it wrong anyway. But then you have this outlandish CDC recommendation, and we're going to talk about that coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
On your radio at 95.3 FM, online at 95.3mnc.com.
I'm going to go grab some more coffee, folks. I shall return. So is this your first time doing it then? The voice track?
Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather sponsored by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles, where there's a favorite for everyone.
My favorite is the hamburgers. My favorite's the pancakes.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Scattered light snow showers in our forecast today with an additional 1 to 3 inches expected, giving us our total closer to about 3 to 4 inches across the region with a high of right around 31 degrees. For tonight, we drop down near 20, and then for your Thursday forecast, colder air moves in, keeping our daytime high at 25 degrees.
I just walked up front. They still have that B100 gear that they've been trying to get rid of since the birthday party.
Selling it for $5 a pop.
And I was like, God, they can't even give away the B100 gear.
Well, they're selling it for charity. For any of the money that goes goes to St. Jude's.
And the ABC 57
It's pretty funny.
It
I like dicking with them as much as I possibly can. All right.
Oh, you had to finish it though. The best part of that is that she's saying it's Bloomberg and not Trump. It's the best part of that whole clip.
Updates at the top and bottom of every hour from Michiana's election headquarters on 95.3 MNC, your breaking news and weather station.
When those giant scissors come out for a grand opening ceremony, it's the staff that's in the photo. Behind the scenes of any office or industrial build are numerous contractors.
No, and look, you have to pay attention to the numbers. The numbers will show your trends, but yes, there are other things. Like I said yesterday, the Middle East is having a larger outbreak, according to my sources, than is being reported. That has to be a concern for everybody. But if you look at the trends from the numbers, all you can do is you can go from 24, these 24-hour numbers that we get, and they're usually 16 hours old by the time I get on the air. And that's all you can do is you can follow the trend. And if you follow the trend has been downwards. It hasn't been up. So it will be interesting to see what ends up happening.
Let us take the guesswork out of your project and help you sleep easy. You've got better things to do. Let us hook you up. Find Final Phase Electric on Facebook or visit finalphaseelectric.com.
All right. Appreciate it, Alex.
Hi, my name is Dave Anderson. I've been selling new cars at Lock Monday Motors for over 30 years.
And I'm Greg Slayball. I've been selling pre-owned vehicles at Lock Monday Motors for 16 years.
Greg and I have been working together a long time, and every year there was a lot of excitement at tax time.
Yeah, that's right. We have so many vehicles, we are running out of places to park.
We have a tremendous offer.
Well, and they've got these 80 people in New York that are, Long Island, that are self-quarantined, and they're just testing. So, the biggest issue with the United States is that they didn't listen to the president when they flew those infected people back to the United States, and he didn't want them being flown back, and somebody decided to go around the president and fly them back here, which was a horrendously stupid thing to do. And he is furious, rightfully, that happened.
That's why so many of us have been here for so long and have customers that come back over and over for all their vehicle needs.
Shop the inventory right now at LockMondayMotors.com.
I'm Dave Anderson.
And I'm Greg Slayball. Visit Lock Monday Motors in Elkhart, a tradition of caring since 1954.
Get ready for a real taste of history at Tippecanoe Place with me, Casey Hendrickson, featuring Studebaker Brewing Company's Irish Ale and Johnson Brothers Irish Whiskey tastings on site. Make your plans now for March 12th and join me and friends for a spectacular evening of Irish Ale and whiskey with a craft dinner including a special menu for a one-of-a-kind dinner experience. Enjoy roasted garlic and brie soup, habanero honey vinaigrette double smoked pork belly, coffee-crusted prime beef tenderloin, and more, including dessert. Seating is limited and prepaid reservations are required. Tickets are only $95.3. That's $95.30, and that includes your craft beers and whiskey pairings and your 4-course craft dinner with dessert. Tax and gratuity.
By the way, $95 for a pairing dinner is cheap as hell. Usually they're a couple of $100, so.
Special events tab. Or you can call Tippecanoe Place at 574-234-9077. And mark your calendar now for March 12th at 6:30 p.m. And join me at 95.3 MNC at Tippecanoe Place Restaurant in South Bend.
Tax time is match time. Only in R&B Car Company.
You know what's funny is I think that the Coffee with Casey beer episode played today. And now the CDC is telling everybody to shave their beard so they don't get coronavirus. Isn't that interesting? So really, you could say, Joe, that it is a direct slight against me, not Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, is it? Is it now? Is that what it is?
Yes, that is what it is.
Started, even our simple grocery trips became major challenges. So I scheduled an evaluation with the back pain experts at St. Joe. For me, robotic-assisted surgery was the best option. It helped restore my range of motion, and recovery was fast. And now we're back to helping each other, just like before. Learn about your options. Schedule an evaluation with...
Hey, let me know how the dog biscuits work, Bill. I'm glad to hear about your wife. I haven't done the dog biscuits yet, and my guy, he's got some bad hips himself.
Your top news, weather, and traffic during Michiana's morning news on 95.3 MNC. Your breaking news and weather
Station.
All right, some breaking news. Want to thank the people on the live stream, and you can watch the live stream at youtube.com/CaseyTheHost or twitch.tv/CaseyTheHost. Apparently, there is a potential active shooter that situation that has happened. I almost said drill. Sorry, it's a real situation in Milwaukee. So there is a media staging area. They're saying it's an active scene and all of that. So we will absolutely be looking in on that. This is the Molson Coors campus in Milwaukee. So that will likely develop here in the next several minutes. So we'll continue to monitor that as well. But again, breaking news, there is a potential active shooter situation in Milwaukee. And as soon as we know more, we will certainly let you know. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. And just going over the coronavirus tracker. And you've got the CDC today recommending that men shave their beards to protect against the coronavirus. According to CNN, when it comes to a novel coronavirus safety, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention suggests facial hair be kept to a minimum so it fits within a face piece respirator. It's, okay. But here's the thing. We aren't at a stage where you need that yet. So unless the CDC is hiding something from everybody, I don't know where this is coming from. Again, their messaging for months has been, hey, this is a serious thing, but we are monitoring it. We're working on it. Be vigilant, take a look, which is why I've been giving you the updates every single day. That's the whole point of it. And every day that I give you the updates, there's improvement. There hasn't been an update that has gone negative in a couple of weeks, and that's good. I mean, that's a trend into this thing being somewhat under control. You never know when it can flare up. You could have a silly situation where somebody does something dumb, like, I don't know, when a government official ignores the president's direct order not to fly back infected Americans into the United States, which they ignored, and they did, and that those people ended up infecting other people, which is why we had this doubling, if you will, of cases in the U.S. So as long as the measures that are being used continue to show a positive trend, and that's progress, and they should tell you that. If there is something that has happened and there has been a breach in the quarantine measures, then that's fine. They just need to tell us why all of a sudden the messaging is you need to shave your beard now, not go to work, don't have meetings in person, and your kids might want to get used to the idea of a virtual school. I mean, that's a pretty powerful message. That's almost a message like, hey, we've got an epidemic in the United States, but there isn't any evidence of an epidemic in the United States, unless there is, and the CDC is choosing not to share it with us for whatever reason. So, again, the idea is to shave your whiskers so that way you can have a mask on and that sort of thing. They really don't like side whiskers or soul patches or anything like that. But it's all because of the mask, okay? That's the idea. Members of the military know exactly what I am talking about. Ladies, you should probably shave too. We have to be equal here, Joe. We want to make sure that everybody shaves and or waxes their face just to be appropriate and inclusive of all parties involved. Basically, they're saying just hair should not cross the respirator seal. Makes sense. Now, do you need a respirator right now? Nope. So I don't know if they're just prepping everybody for that eventuality. I don't know, but I don't know. The messaging is very, very unusual. And I'm sorry, the lady giving the messaging, being Rod Rosenstein's sister, is funny. Okay? Doesn't mean she's lying to us. Doesn't mean she's not giving us good advice. It's very problematic because the CDC has provided zero evidence of any reason why this messaging needs to be so serious. And I hope that they are misleading us, to be honest with you. More coming up.
WTRC FM.
And HD1 and HD3.
Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your top stories right now.
I want everybody to write down these past dates because I want you to remember when the CDC came out and told us that we were all going to die. I just want you to remember that. Al, it's his sister. So I just want everybody to remember that the CDC miraculously, right about this time, decided that their messaging was going to be doomsday versus calming, and they didn't provide any evidence why that shift happened. And either they're hiding something from us and they don't want to cause a panic, or there is some other motivation behind it. I don't know which one it is, okay, but it certainly is very strange and very odd.
Funding package that totals $8.5 billion. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Well, President Trump is scheduled to hold a news conference on U.S. efforts.
Yeah, the president's going to hold that news conference. It's supposed to be at 6 o'clock. I forgot to mention that.
Showing possible symptoms of the coronavirus is being tested just outside New York City on Long Island. More than 80 others there in voluntary isolation being monitored because of travel-related concerns. A better day on Wall Street.
Well, and William, to your point, it's important that we understand that this isn't a pandemic. Nothing pandemic has happened yet. They're worried it could, and certainly that is a possibility, but there's no pandemic right now, and they're acting like there is. It's an epidemic in China. South Korea is dealing with a lot of those cases too, and South Korea's had a jump in numbers, and that's concerning, and it should be concerning. The fatalities in South Korea, I don't know. I could probably pull that up. Hold on a second.
America is listening. Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. News Talk 95.3 95.3 Michiana's News Channel and 95.3MNC.com.
I'm Tommy Lee in the MNC News Center, and the weather is the big
All right,
story.
so South Korea is at 1,261 cases now. They've got 284 new cases. They have 12 deaths, okay? Somebody just passed away in South Korea. And the other thing to look at, too, is who the actual victims are, because the victims, again, typically are elderly with other respiratory issues. You know, Japan, while Japan is listed as having like 877 cases, 705 of them are on that cruise ship.
The water levels are high primarily because Mother Nature has thrown a lot of water at us. The primary drivers of water levels are...
What you have to pay attention to is Iran. Iran's already got 19 dead, and they only have 139 cases. So, and like I've told you, my sources in the Middle East are saying that the outbreak there is much worse than people are reporting. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a jump in numbers based on the Middle East. What does the Middle East not have? Good medicine. So.
Was the worst month of the year, seeing a drop of almost 40% from 2018. Officials with the RV Industry Association...
Yeah, you can get the lotion at any local e-cig works, Jim.
Which is what they were predicting for 2020. They refer to the last year's dip as normalizing, but say that numbers from January are a good sign that things are looking solid moving forward. In 2019, September was the only month that saw any increase from 2018 numbers. Brian Davis, MNC News.
Oh, God, Rhonda. You want a divorce? Because that's how you get a divorce.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 26 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists' first warning forecast.
Scattered light snow showers adding up through about early evening, with temperatures hitting a daytime high of 31 degrees. For tonight, we see down near 20 with a chance for a couple flurries, and then we'll have lake effect snow bands begin to set up for Thursday.
Somebody sent me a picture of her on a box, but it looks like shadows. So maybe I just mistook a shadow for a box. That could be. Because it looks like it's just a shadow.
And smart speakers everywhere. News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
The news is powered by St. Joseph Health System, setting a new standard for care with an entire team of experts dedicated to your well-being. Learn more at sjmed.com.
Where's the patient, ma'am?
Down in the basement, hurry!
Well, I don't see anything except a noisy furnace.
That is the patient!
Ma'am, you need the furnace and air conditioning doctor. You need Weaver Heating and Cooling.
Think of Weaver Heating and Cooling.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the shadow, I probably just mistook it for a shadow because of the way the lights were hitting that, but it's gray versus the blue reflection of the lights, so that makes sense. I see it now. I just didn't see it in the video that I was looking at. It just looked like she was standing there on the ground. Well, and another thing that I was going to point out is, you know, while the CDC is saying this with a mask, in Asian culture, they don't really have beards. They don't really have facial hair, so.
Contact Weaver Heating and Cooling for a free estimate. Visit weaverheating.com today or call 259-9941. That's 259-9941.
This is what Flow from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
And basic motorcycle policies start at just $75 a year. I know, right? Do you think I say I know right too often? I do. I know, right? I have to stop, don't I? I know.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle. Yeah, even our commercials are better on a bike. Progressive keeps you on yours. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
You're a small business owner, and there's nothing small about what you do. That's why Dell Small Business Technology Advisors give you trusted advice, one-on-one partnership, and tailored tech solutions, like computers with Intel Core processors, servers, storage, networking, plus thousands of top-brand electronics, accessories, and software. No matter your technology needs, Dell is here to help your small business do big things. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
All right, here we go.
From the first step to the final phase.
Industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. And I would like to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. Did have some people send me some pictures of an alleged box. I believe it is a box now. When I looked at the video with Amy Klobuchar standing there, it looked like she was just standing behind the podium. It's a well-designed box. I'll give him that. And it looked like it was shadow. So it appears that she was on a box, bringing her up to the 5'6" that we have for Michael Bloomberg. So there we go. So he's not 5'4", which of course I knew. That's what I was pointing out, that she probably has some built-in lift in those shoes of hers. But there is a box. There you go. All right. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Obviously, healthcare has come up. I was just watching an old video with Tucker Carlson and a professor from Indiana University, and this professor was talking about Medicare for All being this amazing thing and talking about the numbers and all that stuff. And they're really pushing these new bits of research that have come out over the past couple of days, and you're going to see Bernie Sanders supporters really pushing this, that Medicare for All is actually cheaper. What they don't cover in that research, by the way, is long-term care, emergency care, and they didn't cover the taxes. They just covered the price of insurance versus Medicare for All. So they've ignored all of the big factors that are going to lead to it. And what I would like to remind everybody is that while you have a couple of studies saying Medicare for All is cheaper, there's a lot of studies that say it's not cheaper. And can I just offer this one little bit of information? Really not even opinion. It's just, data. The argument for or against Medicare for All should not be the cost of it. It should be the effectiveness of it. And if you're going to model your system after the UK or Canada, you should probably look at the problems that you see in the UK and Canada, two much smaller nations. And you should probably evaluate why those two systems are trying to move away from the system that we are trying to model, because it doesn't even work for their own populations, not in its current form. And yet here we are trying to replicate that form here in the United States, which would affect a lot more people, and all of the problems that they have in Canada and the UK would be extrapolated out based on our population numbers. And if you look at that, it is going to be very concerning. And if you start, evaluating, again, the Canadian system and the UK system, which we're trying to model our Medicare for All system after, it doesn't look good for the United States. It doesn't look good for them, which is why they're looking at changing the systems. So even if it were to be cheaper, which it's not, because numerous studies have shown that, yes, you'll pay less out of pocket for insurance, but you will actually pay more out of pocket when you adjust for the new tax rates that you're going to have to be hit with. So you actually pay more. And you also have to factor in that you still are going to have to carry some private insurance to cover other stuff that the government system doesn't cover. That's just how it works pretty much everywhere else in the world. So you're going to have these huge increase in expenses, plus you're still going to have to pay for insurance to cover the things that are not covered by the government system. And the big question is, all right, forget about the cost. Does it work? Is it a good thing? And the systems in Canada and the UK would suggest that it's not great. Okay? Canadians come here to get their serious health care for a reason. You look at the wait lines, you look at the doctors' complaints. The doctors are actually boycotting and protesting in those countries right now, for crying out loud. So, pay attention to that stuff. But just know that as they're pushing this latest bit of research on that there is a ton of research that says Medicare for All is going to cost a lot more per man, woman, and child, not less. And that is because, you'll pay less in your insurance premiums, but you're going to pay more in your taxes. So the estimates are about 3/4 of the population, maybe more, are going to have a negative impact for Medicare for All. So just pay attention to all of that stuff before you take a look at all of that. Unconfirmed reports on that shooting in Milwaukee, unconfirmed 8 shot, including the shooter. Again, we'll continue to update you on that here in a few minutes. In the meantime, since healthcare is an issue that we are dealing with, patient volume at Walmart health clinics in Georgia are exceeding expectations. Okay, Walmart health clinics in Georgia. So Walmart has now expanded into primary care by opening 2 new standalone health clinics in the last 6 months, pitting its rivals against pitting it against rivals also pushing into healthcare such as CVS Health and Amazon, according to Bloomberg. Walmart Health opened its first clinic last September in Dallas, Georgia. And in January, it opened a second clinic in Calhoun, Georgia. The clinics offer patients $30 medical checkups, $25 teeth cleaning, and access to a mental health counselor for $1 per minute. So $60 per hour. Okay. Prices for these services are listed on bright digital billboards in the waiting room of Walmart Health's clinics. So again, apparently this is working pretty darn well, and they are looking at rolling this out. CVS has their Health Hubs program where they're going to have 1,500 of these things rolled out by 2021. Of course, CVS has expanded their healthcare offerings a lot over the past several years. 2 Walmart health clinics are part of the retailer's attempt to grab a larger share of the nation's $3.6 trillion in health spending. It plans to direct some of the 150 million people coming through its 4,756 U.S. stores each week to improve healthcare delivery and convenience. So you might see a low-cost Walmart option that'll be happening as well. Of course, they're going to be very limited in what kind of services they could provide. But it could be an option. You know, you need a teeth cleaning. All right, $25 versus however much you pay at the dentist. You know, you don't want your dental care. You just want to get your checkups every single year. You can go in, you can get that taken care of, and you'd be okay. So, but again, it's going to be very limited. But apparently, they're having really good success with these things in Georgia, and they're looking to expand those things out. So we will see. Somebody's asking on the live stream how well versed they are at diagnosing diabetes. I don't know, but I learned today. I was talking to my eye doc over at Southwest Vision Center, and they were letting me know that when you get your eyes checked, they can actually screen for that. Apparently, they can see if you have diabetes or if you're heading in that direction, as well as some other diseases. It's all in your eyes. Apparently, it's the blood vessels and stuff. I didn't know that. And so I was sitting down. I was doing the marketplace interview with them today. And they were letting me know that, yeah, we if we notice this stuff when we're doing your eye exam, we'll let you know. So then you can go to your doctor and say, hey, I think I might be heading in the wrong direction here, and be able to go ahead and get treatment for it. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. So it's another reason why you should go to Southwest Vision Center and get your eyes checked, ladies and gentlemen, because they can actually help screen out for various health issues. Who knew? I mean, they knew, but I didn't know. But now I do, and now I'm telling all of you. All right. 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595953. You can also send me a text message like some listeners have done today at 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that. If you want to watch the live stream, you can go to youtube.com/Casey the host. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button, please. We have a lot of people who watch but don't hit the like button. I really need the like buttons. Please do that. It helps with the YouTube algorithms. So if YouTube doesn't want to show my show to anybody who is looking for live content, if you comment, if you share, if you hit that like button, that all helps the algorithm show my show, which of course means more people will be exposed to being brainwashed by me. And then you do that on YouTube. And then if you're on Twitch, please subscribe or follow on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you can actually subscribe to one channel on Twitch for free every single month. And that helps me do giveaways and things of that nature. So that's twitch.tv/Casey the host. And if you are on Twitter, you should follow me at RealCaseyH. And I am streaming to Periscope now, which has been interesting. I haven't really had a lot of impact on Periscope just yet. Periscope's kind of one of those things that's kind of dying out, but I figured I would try. I know a couple of people who do it successfully. Figured I would emulate what they're doing. So go follow me on Periscope at RealCaseyH or on Twitter at RealCaseyH, and you'll see the Periscope live stream. We have more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Extended forecast brought to you by the Prime
I'm going to pull up that Milwaukee thing right now. It really hasn't been picked up nationally yet. Nobody's really talking about it.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Scattered light snow showers in our forecast today with an additional 1 to 3 inches expected, giving us our total closer to about 3 to 4 inches across the region with a high of right around 31 degrees. For tonight, we drop down near 20, and then for your Thursday forecast...
What's up, Josh? How you doing? See, Josh is on Periscope. Look at that.
5 degrees, and we'll have a chance for a lake effect snow showers. Now for Friday, we'll have again at the Hillary Memorial.
Yeah, she was, the doc was talking about having, the blood vessels and all the various things that they could go ahead and, not diagnose, but they could see signs of, and they could notify their patients. It's pretty cool. I didn't realize that, but pretty neat. So a simple eye exam can actually save your life. And they're the best in the business as far as I'm concerned. They are amazing. What's up, Impeach? How you doing? I'm hanging in there, Josh. Hanging in there. That's about it. Some good things, some bad things. Casey, I'm shaving my entire body now. Nice. Any more information on the active shooter? I am working on it. I'm working on it.
The lines that we carry are, we carry Stickley, Henrodon, Hickory Chair, Hickory White, Hancock and Moore, Century, Temple Furniture. Why do we carry the lines of furniture we carry? I believe in the quality. I believe that it's a value. When you're purchasing something that is of good quality, it can literally last you as long as you want to own it. The styling is typically a little more classic, so it's not going to be trendy, and it's something you can live with and pass down. We are not a commission-based company, so when someone comes in, we're not trying to, oh, I need to buy this because I need to make my commission for the month or for the week. We actually are more interested in helping you find what it's.
So like this, the new texting service, like you can send messages, but it doesn't like show your messages to them, and it doesn't confirm that you actually replied to them. So like I type a message and I hit send, and I'm just praying that they get it at this point. And there's no like thread for me to see the conversation. So, and again, I only see their phone number, so I have no idea what the hell is being discussed half the time. It's very difficult. It's first world problems, man. First world problems.
Did the old service do that?
Yeah, so the old service, you see my message pop up, and you could click on their thing and it'll show you the whole conversation. So you can open it in like a separate window. The problem is the other service was unreliable because it was always going down.
Yes.
So, I mean, I totally get why we change services. It's just that this one is not.
This one's not as user-friendly.
No, not at all. Maybe more reliable. Yeah, USA Today is still around, believe it or not. I think they're all digital now, though.
A tradition of caring since 1954.
Hi, this is Dwayne Miller with Good Faith Management, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price, call me at 574-294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as low as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy even more. Call me at 574-294-5678. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses too. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses.
All right. WISN 12 is reporting that the suspected shooter is a former Miller Coors employee, so another disgruntled ex-employee. The latest thing, which is 3 seconds, was at least 2 dead in the shooting. So there might be more, because I know I saw Alex say that there may be 8.
But then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/search. That's ZipRecruiter.com/search. ZipRecruiter.com/search.
95.3 MNC, securing your financial future each and every Saturday morning with Wise Money with Corhorn Financial Group. Financial advisors Kevin Corhorn, Mike Bernard, and Josh Gregory are here to talk about the latest money news and how it affects your pocketbook, savings account, or retirement plan.
Hi, this is Mike from Wise Money with Corhorn Financial Group. Are you interested in using some of your 401k to fund the early years of retirement? If so, there's a financial trick you need to be aware of. That and more this Saturday. Listen Saturday at 9 on 95.3 MNC and wisemoneyradio.com.
Lake effect snow for Thursday.
All right, here we go.
School delays and closings. I'm Brooklyn Beatty.
John Zimney, traffic and weather every 10 minutes on the 6s too. First thing Thursday, 95.3 MNC.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. So here is the latest that we have of what's happening in Milwaukee. And again, this is at the Miller Coors facility. The latest that we have from WISN 12 News, that's their local news there, okay? They are saying that there is at least 2 people dead. Now, there are some reports that have at least 8. So WISN is just saying that we know that there's 2 dead. The shooter, the active shooter, appears to be an employee or a former employee of Miller Coors. The reports basically are that this is an individual who was fired recently and has exacted revenge, okay? Now, please understand, this is an active and new developing situation that has only started happening in the past hour or so. Actually, last half hour. And WISN started reporting on it 32 minutes ago. All right, that was the breaking news 32 minutes ago. So this is still a developing story. And as a result of that, you will have changes in what actually happened as the authorities are able to get in there. SWAT teams are obviously on scene. There are conflicting reports about this still being active and the shooter being dead. Okay, now it could be that one shooter is dead and they're looking to see if there's another. The Miller Coors employees are sheltering in place, according to people who have had contact with those at Miller Coors. But again, active shooter situation in Milwaukee at the Miller Coors facility, where there's at least 2 people dead, possibly more, depending on the reports. The shooter appears to be a former employee. All right. Now, I don't know how long ago they would or would not have been fired, but most of the reports are saying former employee, not active employee. So I don't know if this is a reaction to a recent firing or not. They do have a media staging area. Again, SWAT teams are on scene, but there isn't a lot of information coming out about this and conflicting reports about whether or not this is over, okay? So we will continue to check in on this. We just don't have a lot to report on right now, other than that there is an incident that has been confirmed. Authorities are there, media is there, SWAT is there, and they're saying that there is, so WISN 12 saying the suspected shooter is a former employee. That is 1 minute ago. A former employee. That's their reporting on that. They're local, so I'm going to trust the local people over the national people any day of the week. Local news outfits usually have the information much quicker, much faster. They obviously have contacts on the department. But at the same time, every time we have one of these stories, one, you're going to have a couple of things happen. You're going to have everybody who's politically motivated going out there and tweeting about it. And you're seeing that already. I know. Shocker. This is somehow the NRA or Donald Trump's fault. So that's going to be one of those things you have to look out for. With that comes people that distort what really happened to try and steer a narrative, okay? Nobody's ever held accountable for all of that stuff, so just be aware of what you're seeing on social media. Look at it for what it is, as developing and new information that may or may not be accurate. My recommendation is to go with local sources, so that way they're the ones that are going to be able to get you the most accurate information about what is actually happening. So again, active shooter situation in Milwaukee at Miller Coors, which is, again, the beer facility. Apparently, the suspected shooter is a former employee. They're saying at least 2 people shot, could be more. Okay? All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595-953. Again, as we learn more, we will certainly pass more of that information on to all of you. All right, what do we have here? We got that. Well, no, I already did that 7-year-old thing. No, there's Project Veritas. That's what I was looking for. All right, so Project Veritas, they've got a new video that dropped. This one hit ABC News pretty hard. Project Veritas video shows an ABC News correspondent, bigwig, actually, correspondent bashing the network and accusing higher-ups of intentionally failing to report properly on President Donald Trump. Youch! That's pretty intense. Wednesday's newest video shows correspondent David Wright, who has since been suspended from ABC News, talking about how voters are poorly informed. Well, that's true, in part because of the network's purported refusal to cover Trump appropriately. True. He alleges that the network carefully crafts its reporting to fit a certain narrative, particularly around Trump. Quote, "I feel terrible about it." That's what Wright is seen saying on the video. "I feel that the truth suffers, the voters are poorly informed, and people also have the opportunity to tune into whatever they want to hear. And so it's like there's an upside in our bosses don't see any upside in doing a job that we're supposed to do, which is to speak truth to power and hold people to account." Now, Wright also added that ABC News fails to hold Trump to account while simultaneously not giving him credit for the things that he does. The correspondent alleged that ABC News is only interested in 3 things in its daily reporting on the president. Quote, "We're interested in the outrage of the day, the investigation of the palace intrigue of who's backstabbing whom. Beyond that, we don't really cover the guy." Now, you have to understand, this is a correspondent. This isn't like some low-flung producer or something. This is a bigwig over at ABC. And promotion of the company and also promotion of individuals within the company, as opposed to the kind of dedication to the story and a commitment to telling stories that we need to tell that are maybe hard to tell, he said. Now, he also went on to say that he considers himself a socialist, so he wouldn't be ideologically aligned with the president at all. So this is a correspondent at ABC News. And his name is David Wright. He has now been suspended by ABC News for saying this. And there's a bunch of people out there saying, why did they suspend him? Because he's a socialist? No, they suspended him because he let the cat out of the bag that he doesn't believe that ABC News is accurately reporting the news and that they're highlighting a bias. By the way, a bias that he would be more in line to support given that he's a self-identified socialist. But I've been watching people kind of spin this today to be that ABC News fired him for his ideology or suspended him for his ideology. That is not what is going on. So again, Wright considers himself a socialist, a point that he happily noted during the video. ABC News producer Andy Fies also makes an appearance in the Project Veritas video. Fies can be seen saying that voters need to cross the Hudson River to see why people support the president. He adds that ABC News doesn't understand voters, and Wright agrees with that, saying that the network isn't terribly interested in voters at all. And then he says it used to be better. So again, he wasn't suspended because he identifies as a socialist. He was suspended because he flat out said ABC News doesn't care about you. They don't care about the voters, and they don't cover the president honestly, and it's shameful. Well, Project Veritas strikes again. Again, Project Veritas, who people falsely accuse of deceptively editing their videos, every time they have an expose, somebody gets in trouble at the target. So, and look, David Wright, say what you want about him, being a socialist or whatever, but what he said is what you need to hear. That the news is not covering the president. Honestly, they don't care about you or your opinions, and they only care about their agenda. And that's coming from a guy who's a self-identified socialist who would not be in alliance or agreement with the president the vast majority of the time. We have more coming up. I'll see if I have any more updates on what's happening in Milwaukee with the active shooter situation. More of that coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station, MNC.
Guarantee it. Visit trilogyhs.com to find a
Shares of home improvement retailer Lowe's closing down 4% after reporting weaker than expected sales for its fourth quarter. That's your Bob's Business Report. I'm Lori Barsky, investing in you.
At my core. No bias, no nonsense. Laura Logan has no agenda.
Testing. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that apparently fixed it.
Think about donating your gently used clothing and household items, which is great. But what about those old computers? Have you looked around lately? Chances are there's an old PC stuffed in your closet or your basement. Could be.
So you guys can hear me, that's good, but can you see me, or is it frozen?
You not only help put people to work, you recycle responsibly and help all of us by
Froze, okay.
the environment from the toxic waste inside computer equipment. It's a free
service by Dell Reconnect and Goodwill. You can donate computers, monitors, scanners, printers, working or not. They'll accept just about anything that can be connected to a computer. Bring it all to a drive-through donation center at your nearest Goodwill retail store. Remember, it's free and you'll get a tax receipt. Get more information online at goodwill-ni.org.
That should work. I don't know what happened. That was the weirdest thing. I changed nothing. I absolutely changed nothing. It just decided to stop feeding audio to it for some reason.
ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Very, very strange. All right, so I got to pull up the debate here.
ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Capital One, you can open a new savings account.
I'm going to do the update first, but then I'm going to go into the, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that because you said you wanted to do that. And
Correct. Yeah, I just don't see anything new about it.
Well, the
or 5 times the savings toward your family's perfect vacation.
Oh, no, that. Yeah.
Oh.
No, the debate's at 5 o'clock. Sorry, 5 o'clock.
Capital One, what's in your wallet? Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rate. Capital One NA member FDIC.
From the Final Phase Electric Studios, from the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. All right, so we have an update in the horrible story involving that baby Chloe and the cruise ship fatality with her in the window. I'm going to actually go to BuzzFeed. I know I never go to BuzzFeed, but I'm going to BuzzFeed on this. Wait, do we have the story at 953mnc.com? I would assume that we do. I just want to double check. Let's see. Yeah, we do. All right. So if you go to 95.3 MNC, you'll be able to see that. All right. So the grandfathers changed their plea. Michiana grandfather accused of dropping his granddaughter from a cruise ship window will change his plea to guilty. Salvatore Anello was previously charged with negligent homicide following the death of Chloe Wigan back in July. Anello decided to change his plea one day after declining his right to a jury trial. Remember, he waived his right to the jury trial yesterday. We just wanted to speak to the judge, which may very well have been a wise decision, to be perfectly honest with you, considering the wide coverage of this case. The family's attorney says that the decision was a difficult one for Anello and the family, but because the plea agreement includes no jail time and no admission of facts, it was decided that the deal was the best interest of the family so they can go back to focusing on mourning Chloe. Anello initially alleged that he did not know that the window was open on the Royal Caribbean ship when she fell from the 11th floor. We obviously had the cruise liner release some surveillance video, and the surveillance video seemed to support the cruise ship's version of events. and seemed to indicate that it would have been near impossible for him to not know that that window was open. Now, I did say that there's a lot of cameras on that deck, and they only released the angle of one of them. So the family's position is that they want to see the other cameras. And admittedly, there is a little obstruction in the released camera, but it does seem to support the cruise ship's narrative that even if he didn't know that it was open, he should have. And looking at it, it would have been very, very difficult for me to buy his story. I don't know, because I don't have the other angles. And I can just tell you, based on what I saw in that video versus what I saw in the pictures and the video of the investigators who were going there, I would have found it very difficult to believe that he didn't notice that window was open. I do not believe that he did it on purpose. I don't have any reason to believe that he did it on purpose. I still think that this is a horrible accident, and I don't have any data to show otherwise, okay? I took a plea deal today to try to help end part of this nightmare for my family if possible. That's what Anello said. The support that they continue to give me has been beyond overwhelming, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for them. The attorney for the family, Michael Winkleman, announced that the plea deal in a statement on Wednesday said that he would not serve any jail time as part of the plea deal. Let's see. By the way, Winkleman's representing the family in the civil case. Remember, the family is suing the cruise liner. Cruise liner's countersuing. It's a whole thing. This decision was an incredibly difficult one for Sam and the family, but because the plea agreement includes no jail time and no admission of facts, it was decided the plea deal is in the best interest of the family, so they can close this horrific chapter, turn their focus on mourning Chloe and fighting for cruise passenger safety by raising awareness about the need for all common carriers to adhere to window fall prevention laws designed to protect children from falling from windows. Remember, that case is still pending, so the civil case is still out there. The Puerto Rico Department of Public Safety has not yet responded to a request for comment. The grandfather has always insisted that he did not know that the window was open. He's also said that one of the reasons that here's some photos here from the family's civil lawsuit that I've not seen before. Well, this changes things now. So this is where remember the family, when the cruise line released the surveillance video, they didn't release all of the surveillance video. They only released one camera angle. And I thought that was interesting. And the family said, okay, release all of the camera angle then. So I'm looking at recreated photos that the family has in the civil lawsuit recreating the incident. And he's got the doll, if you will, standing on the railing, which is, a foot, maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet away from the window, which seems to suggest that potentially he wouldn't know that it was on there. Now, again, I understand that there is a color variation with those windows, which people have argued would lead you to then be able to see that the window was open. He's maintained that he's colorblind, and that would have affected that. Okay, maybe, perhaps, I don't know. Then the other issue is the breeze. People have mentioned the breeze before with an open window, that there would have been a breeze. I don't know. I don't know what the weather was like that day. But this does kind of, the photos that the family has in the civil suit recreating the incident, I'll leave them in the Daily Show prep for everybody, just so you can see them yourself, would seem to rebuff a little bit the cruise ship's footage that they had on there. So, again, I'll put that in the Daily Show prep for everybody, along with the story about the plea deal, so that way you can all go ahead and evaluate it for yourself and make a decision. Again, I hate talking about the case, but that's the development there. He's taken a plea deal on that, no jail time, no admission of facts, but the civil case is still going to go forward, okay? We have more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
All right.
26 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Scattered light snow showers in our forecast.
This is like one of those weird days where it seems like it's going fast, but it's going slow.
3 to 4 inches across the region with a high of around 31 degrees. For tonight, we drop down near 20, and then for your Thursday forecast, colder air moves in, keeping our daytime high at 25 degrees, and we'll have a chance for a lake effect snow showers. Now for Friday, we'll have again a couple flurries in the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, a high right around 25 degrees. But then we get to see that mix of sun and clouds again for Saturday with the high near 30. As Sunday rolls around, we'll see a few clouds from time to time with a high right around 38, but warming into early next week. In the ABC 57,
Come on, save.
Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Kennedy.
You're only a click or download away from your favorite radio station. Because 95.3 MNC is everywhere. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I'm putting the photo
Full details on our website.
in the Daily Show prep for everybody.
On Alexa, Google Home, and at 953mnc.com.
Today's news, traffic and weather.
Get connected and stay in touch all day and all night. Right here on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
Hey, it's Pete the Planner here. With kids growing up so fast, why not grow their college savings too? With Indiana's College Choice 529 Savings Plan. It's the tax advantage way to save for any eligible school. That includes tech schools and trade schools, plus traditional four-year colleges. And Indiana residents may receive a 20% state tax credit.
All right, it's in the Daily Show prep.
$1,000 for contributions. $1,000! No need to wait. The sooner you get the account going, the sooner the savings can start growing.
Right? It's like a weirdly slow day today. Like I was preparing for 5 o'clock and I looked up and I'm like, oh God, it's 40. It's only 4:30.
Yeah.
Non-qualified withdrawals may be subject
I'm showing 65. How many likes do I have?
eligibility requirements. Read the disclosure booklet carefully at collegechoicedirect.com before investing.
Remember when you brought your car into that
Although mine is a total of everybody watching on all platforms. So
you brought it into an independent shop and learned you could save some money. Second opinions can save you money in retirement too. Have you taken your retirement plan to an independent advisor for a second opinion? Howard Bailey has helped over 1,000 families craft their retirement roadmap with meaning and purpose so they could spend more time doing the things they love and less time worrying about their financial security. Call 866-482-9559 now and schedule a complimentary visit with our independent team at Howard
website's
Bailey.
been really
Take
weird.
control of your financial future. Don't let hidden fees and unnecessary taxes affect your retirement. Call the Howard Bailey team at 866-482-9559 and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. That's 866-482-9559.
Investment advisory services may be offered.
there is nothing new.
Registered investment advisor. Past
The shooter.
No guarantee of future results.
Hi, my name is Dave Anderson. I've been selling new cars at Lock Mini Motors for over
Like,
30 years. And I'm Greg Slable. I've been
It's quiet.
for 16 years. Greg and I have been working together a long time, and every year there was a lot of excitement at tax time.
Yeah, that's right.
Like the update from 2 minutes ago is exactly the same.
Offering of new Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, Dodge, Buick, and GMC models. We only stock the best and most desirable from these premium brands.
We have all makes and models of
I don't know.
Something for every need and every budget. There are a lot of options for what you can do with your tax return. Buying a newer
Police refused to confirm that there was a shooting.
Oh, that ain't good.
Wow.
payment lowers your monthly payment. You could be driving something
It's an active scene. There is something happening, and they're still saying that there's at least 2 people dead, but the police are refusing to confirm that it's a shooting.
That's why so many of us have been here for so long and have customers that come back over and over for all their vehicle needs.
Shop the inventory
Could be a stabbing.
I'm Dave Anderson.
Wow. Okay. So it's getting weird. That's strange. There hasn't been an update in like 20 minutes.
Indiana with new careers, opportunities, and adventures, creating an exciting future in the Hoosier State. And the Indiana
Very,
Housing
very
and
strange.
Development Authority
Very
wants to help you
strange.
Open the door to your first home with its homebuyer programs to make
Yeah,
homeownership
it's. I
much
mean, they're
more
still telling
affordable.
everybody it's an active
Network
scene,
Home
and to
Indiana
avoid
with
it, but
assistance from IHCDA. For more information, visit homeownership.in.gov.
This message is sponsored by the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority and this station.
We're your home for the Rush Limbaugh Show.
All right, here we go.
Exclusively on News Talk
Yep.
95.3, Michiana's news channel. Weather station.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm going to give you an update on the active shooter situation in Milwaukee, which may or may not be a shooting. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But first, are you looking for replacement windows? Well, Fabers B Windows has the Infinity by Marvin Replacement Window. Infinity is rated number 1 by J.D. Power as the top replacement window in the entire country with a lifetime warranty on material and labor. Go to bwindow.com, get a free estimate and a special promotion of up to 50% off, plus 12 months, no payments, no interest. That's bwindow.com. Faber's B Window. Trust B. Looking at the active shooter situation at Miller Coors in Milwaukee, it's getting a little weird. It's still an active scene, all right? The latest that we have from local news, WISN, is that there's at least 2 dead. They are calling it an active shooter situation at Miller Coors, and it is still active. SWAT is there. However, they are saying that the police refused to confirm that there was a shooting. So, it may not be a shooting. So we've seen reports of up to 8 dead, possibly more, but the local news, WISN, which is an ABC affiliate there, they are saying that the police are not confirming that there was a shooting. There is something going on there. Obviously, SWAT's involved. They are also saying at least 2 dead at Miller Coors. Employees are still sheltering in place, but no new details have been released for like 20 minutes. So this, I don't know. Early on, we had heard that possibly the shooter was dead. I don't know if that is the case, or maybe one shooter is dead. Maybe there's still a situation there. I don't know. But just understand that this is still a developing story. It is brand new. And as we learn more, we will certainly pass it on to you. But there isn't a lot to report on at this point in time. They're just not releasing any information about what is happening. So, unfortunately, there's not much else that I can tell you. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message because I need to know that you're talking to me. That's just that simple. The White House on net neutrality. By the way, net neutrality's repeal has been great and fantastic. And, of course, net neutrality was an awful idea. It was an idea that was sold with the exact opposite of what it was. And it was wrong under the Bush administration, and it was wrong under the Obama administration. But it was interesting to watch people who opposed net neutrality because Bush wanted to do it, support it because Obama wanted to do it. It was really interesting to see that. The White House Council for Economic Advisors released a report this week that found that the FCC's repeal of the 2015 net neutrality regulation raised annual incomes by $50 billion. According to the CEA's February economic report of the president, the FCC's repeal of net neutrality regulation raised real annual incomes by more than $50 billion per year and consumer welfare by nearly $40 billion per year. Net neutrality passed under the former Democrat FCC chairman Tom Wheeler in 2015. It was a disaster. It was always going to be a disaster. I spent years telling you it was a disaster. The problem is you got a bunch of young people who think that their internet speeds were going to be increased at a reduced rate, which was never going to happen. That's not what net neutrality did. It didn't promote that. It didn't promise that, but they believed it. Why? Because that was in the marketing package and they didn't know what they were talking about. Restoring Internet Freedom Order reclassified the Internet as an information service and requires Internet service providers such as Comcast or Verizon to release transparency reports detailing their practices on blocking, throttling, and data prioritization for consumers and businesses. The FCC's net neutrality repeal order restored the Federal Trade Commission's traditional authority and expertise to regulate and litigate unfair, deceptive, and anti-competitive telecommunications practices. This is something that was always left out of the net neutrality debate. They were falsely accusing Verizon and Comcast of doing things that they were not doing. And then when net neutrality happened and all of the throttling of internet speed happened, which I told you was going to happen before it passed, people were trying to say that Comcast and others were actually violating net neutrality when in fact they were abiding by it. See, net neutrality slowed the internet down. You had to. It was a requirement. The CEA also said that the FCC's regulations against blocking, throttling, or pay prioritization, as well as classifications of internet service providers as public utilities, restricted the vertical pricing arrangements of internet service providers, or ISPs. That is, monetary transactions between an ISP and the providers of internet content like Netflix, Yahoo, etc. The council added that the rule imposed government oversight on communication services, making it difficult for these companies to quickly respond to competition and provide new goods and services on the market. That last part is critical because that was essentially what net neutrality did. See, people who supported net neutrality wanted to break up monopolies. The problem is that net neutrality created monopolies. Why do you think Google and Netflix and places like that wanted net neutrality to happen? Read this line again. Making it difficult for companies to quickly respond to competition and provide new goods and services on the market. Yeah. So if you're Google, if you're YouTube, if you're Netflix, you love net neutrality. Why? Because it limited competition. People were less likely to be able to compete with you in a free space. What do we have since then? Several new streaming services have launched, right? Amazing services. You've actually killed off several of the older PlayStation View. Gone. They couldn't adjust. They couldn't compete. Gone. At one point in time, they were huge. And then they started losing contracts. Sling improved their quality content, got more contracts. Disney Plus has been launched. CBS has launched new streaming services, although only like 4 million people watch it. Guess Star Trek's not that popular. And you got a bunch of other new packages that are available that were not available before. And net neutrality prevented that from happening. People kept saying, why? Well, look, Netflix wants to do it because Netflix is not going to be slowed down anymore. Netflix was never slowed down. They never were. Netflix supported net neutrality because it made it impossible for competitors to surface. And what has happened since then? Netflix has had more competition. Netflix has been losing subscribers for the first time in the company's entire history. So yeah, they wanted net neutrality to prevent that from happening. By the way, Netflix is still an amazing service. And I know, the Obamas are on the board and you don't want to support Netflix anymore. Okay, whatever. Altered Carbon 2 comes out tomorrow, or Altered Carbon Season 2 comes out tomorrow, and I'm going to be watching the snot out of it because it's amazing. So yeah, it's been a big benefit. We also saw internet speed surge afterwards as well for lower prices. Got more coming up. 95.3 MNC.
WTRC FM.
And HD1 and HD3.
Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
See, like everybody's saying possible active shooter now. Nobody knows what the heck is happening. Crazy.
As Congress considers how much money is needed to protect Americans. Fox's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar says an administration request for emergency coronavirus funding is enough to contain and mitigate the virus spreading in the U.S.
We have focused our $2.5 billion request at HHS, frankly, on U.S. preparedness and response.
The lawmakers from both parties have raised concerns about the total, suggesting more funding is likely required. Top House Republican Kevin McCarthy says creators are considering a $4 billion spending bill. Senate Democratic leader Schumer wants more than twice that amount, proposing $8.5 billion. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Well, Orange County, California, just becoming the latest to declare a health emergency to help fight the spread. A federal appeals court in New York gives a green light to the Trump administration to force states to cooperate with immigration officials by withholding federal grants.
The decision by the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals overturned a lower court's decision ordering the administration to release funding to New York City and 7 states. The DOJ has told so-called sanctuary cities and states that they must give federal immigration authorities access to jails and provide advance notice when someone in the country illegally is about to be released.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. This conflicts with other rulings on the issue and could end up before the U.S. Supreme Court. Reports of a possible shooting at the Miller Coors campus in Milwaukee. Brewing company, police only confirming that they're responding to a critical incident. They've not confirmed any details yet. America is listening to Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's MNC.com.
I'm Tommy Lee in the MNC News Center, and among our top stories this afternoon, the system snow is wrapping up this afternoon. After a system brought plenty of the white stuff to a large area of the central U.S., most of Michiana will see 3 to 6 inches by tonight, and then lake effect snow moves into the area as cold air moves across the mostly ice-free lake. That could bring another 1 to 3 inches of snow to southwest Michigan tomorrow, and likely around an inch of it for Indiana. We could see flurries on Friday as well. Some students in Michigan might start school before Labor Day in the near future.
Tuesday, the state's Department of Education granted a waiver to the Berrien Regional Educational Service Agency that allows them the option of beginning the school year before the federal holiday. WNDU reports that 13 of the 15 school districts in the county encouraged the Berrien RESA to apply for the waivers on their behalf. Not everyone's thrilled about the idea. The Southwestern Michigan Tourism Council is concerned about losing summer workers to earlier classrooms. Caleb Hatch, MNC News.
And some Indiana doctors are raising fears about the possible loss of emergency services under a plan to limit surprise medical bills that can plague patients who have been unknowingly treated by providers from outside of their insurance networks.
Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping this Milwaukee situation gets handled, but they're not giving us a lot to go on. Alex and I are having an interesting, I'll call it a conversation with a conspiracy theorist on Twitter. I mean, you know, they're convinced that the CDC changed their messaging because something Trump did is awful.
Find the latest on these stories and more online at 953mnc.com.
Sponsored by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles, where there's a favorite for everyone.
My favorite is the hamburgers. My favorite's the pancakes.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Lake effect snow continues tonight, will drop to a low temperature of 20 degrees and it will be breezy. The lake effect snow continues throughout the day on Thursday, will warm to a high temperature of 26 degrees. We could see 1 inch of snow. In the UPD 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Mrs. Hedrick.
Minutes matter when severe weather hits. Get 95.3 MNC weather text alerts so you know when to get covered. Powered by Rain Drain. Sign up now at 953mnc.com, your breaking news and weather station.
hours for the job. So leave it to the professionals, Crispin Custom Painting, to do the job right. Watch as the Crispin crew delivers the highest quality work quickly, professionally, and beautifully, never skipping a step. From a small room to a whole house, Crispin Custom Painting offers great service with no mess, no stress. Call me, Dan Crispin, for your free estimate or visit CrispinCustomPainting.com.
Crispin Custom Painting, your home only better.
Crazy. Just crazy. All right, so I'm going to pull up
before attacking.
debate. We'll do some of that.
That's the Sullivan's RV freshwater tank overflowing.
Did I publish the Project Veritas stuff?
Backing into their vent
I did not publish the Project Veritas stuff. Okay.
Kind of attack. One that arrives just in time for taco night. It's wild out there. When it gets too wild, Progressive has your RV covered. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You're a small business owner, and there's nothing small about what you do. That's why Dell Small Business Technology Advisors give you trusted advice, one-on-one partnership, and tailored tech solutions, like computers with Intel Core processors, servers, storage, networking, plus thousands of top-brand electronics, accessories, and software. No matter your technology needs, Dell is here to help your small business do big things. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
Here we go.
From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, your breaking news and weather station.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Once again, I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do want to Thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. See their full inventory online at rbcarcompany.com. All right, so real quick, there just isn't any updates that we can go on with what's happening in Milwaukee at Miller Coors. And again, there was a report of an active shooter. The latest information we have is like 5 minutes old, and it's still an active situation. They're diverting traffic. The media is still in a staging area. WISN, which is an ABC affiliate there, they're saying that there's at least 2 dead in the situation, but they're also saying that police will not confirm it was a shooting. They are saying that the person responsible for whatever happened there is a former employee. Now, whether or not this was a recent firing or firing that happened some time ago, we still do not know. Miller Coors has about 1,400 employees in Milwaukee. The SWAT team is there. The ATF is there. Local police are obviously there. But they're just not releasing a lot of information about what's happening in Milwaukee. So as soon as we learn something, we will certainly pass it on to all of you. I also wanted to let everybody know that the president is supposed to be giving a press conference at 6 p.m. with CDC officials about the coronavirus. And watching the political narrative, in fact, I'm arguing with a dink about this on social media right now. They have steered the narrative to be political now, that the CDC all of a sudden is miraculously telling everybody that we're all going to die, but they haven't provided any reason why their narrative has shifted from one of calm to one of panic. And this happened as the president was outside of the country, and they didn't provide any evidence to support why we should all of a sudden not go to school, not go to work, not have meetings, why we should shave our beards or anything like that. We talked about that earlier today. That's a real thing. The CDC is telling men to shave their beards now, and women. Those of you women who have beards, okay, don't want to be exclusionary here. But they haven't given us any reasons why. There are 57 cases in the United States. 57. We know that some of those cases happened when, against the president's orders, some bureaucrat flew infected Americans from the cruise ship back to the United States, which the president had explicitly ordered them not to do. So we know that the report was earlier this week, the president was furious about this because now you have more people exposed than were originally exposed. But something, if you look at the chart, for those of you who are watching on the live stream, if you look at the chart of infections for coronavirus, right, the chart goes like this, and it was going up very rapidly, and it is now kind of plateaued. There's just over 600 new cases in the past 24 hours. Yesterday, we had some anomalous data, and they seemed to run into an issue. But now, the day before, it was 750 new cases. So the new cases are decreasing. That doesn't mean that there isn't going to be another outbreak. I told you yesterday, my sources in the Middle East say that this is far worse in the Middle East than is being reported. Iran's numbers have jumped, and their death toll has jumped very rapidly. So if you start looking at what's happening in Iran, yeah, there's a potential there for the Middle East to all of a sudden cause the virus to surge again. They don't have great medicine, they don't have great sanitation, and they're not very good at dealing with quarantine. Italy has also had a jump in cases, but, again, Italy was the one that caused the markets to kind of freak out again. So as we continue to look about what's happening, Italy and South Korea are the big ones as far as the Western world is concerned. South Korea had a jump in cases as well. But the Middle East is where everybody's looking right now. But when the CDC comes out and tells everybody all of a sudden that, hey, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we're going to have a massive outbreak here in the United States, it goes against several things, including what the World Health Organization said. So the CDC versus the World Health Organization. Now, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to take the CDC's word for it. The problem is that the CDC didn't release any information that would support why there should be any panic or concern right now. And that's strange because they have consistently had a message of calm. This is something that is affecting the third world. We're taking active measures. You have to understand something. The people floating around on this, Schumer had this political message that, the president's been caught flat-footed on this because the president asked for $2.5 billion in additional emergency funds. For months now, the president has been directing aid and research for coronavirus. He's been getting morning briefings every single day from the CDC. There's other members of Congress that are there. So every single day, he's getting a briefing on it. He's directing resources to battle it. And it got to a point where the CDC said, we need more money. And he said, okay, how much do you need? And so he has to go to Congress. They're the power of the purse. He goes to Congress. He says, all right, they want $2.5 billion. Give it to him. And that led Chuck Schumer to go, see, the president hasn't been doing anything about all of this. I've been covering this thing for months. You've got statements from politicians who are in those briefings every single day with the president of the United States. The narrative that the president hasn't been addressing coronavirus is a lie. It is a flat-out lie. Why do you think the CDC just gets on a plane and can fly wherever the heck they want on taxpayer dollars, or do you think the president's aware of that? They have been in China since the outbreak happened, and they were meeting resistance with China. China wasn't allowing them to help. If anybody deserves any blame here for the coronavirus, it's the Chinese. And miraculously, somehow, the Democrats over the past 24 hours has turned this into coronavirus is Trump's fault. And you've got a bunch of brain-dead amoebas on social media buying into it. This didn't come from the U.S. In 2017, the Chinese were warned that this virus could get out of that lab in Wuhan. And apparently it got out. Now, I'm not saying that they weaponized it. I'm not saying that this was a population control bioweapon or what have you, or if it was an accident. I have no idea. What I can tell you is international officials in 2017 told China this virus specifically can get out of the lab that it was in. And it did. And now you've got 81,000 people around the world that are infected with this thing. The only Western entities that have an issue with it are South Korea and Italy at this point in time. In Japan, the number is inflated because of the cruise ship. Japan only has 170-something infections in the country. The cruise ship has those other ones, which is 600 or 700, I believe. And we're still watching it. And it's one of the reasons I've been telling you about this for so long. And some of you were on me about it and give me, grief. Casey, it's not a big deal. Don't report on it. Well, it's a big story. And whether it's going to affect American lives or not, you have the potential for a whole lot of people in the third world to die. This thing has a higher fatality rate than Spanish flu. And Spanish flu killed millions of people. Now, obviously, a lot of scientific advancements have happened since then, and we have to be cautious of that. Or conscious of that, I should say. And we have to watch it. But at the same time, they've just miraculously, literally, all of a sudden, the CDC is like, we're all going to die. Don't go to work. Don't go to school. Shave your beard off. Wear respirators. Okay, give me a reason why. There's 2 cases of person-to-person transmission in the United States. That's it. That doesn't mean that it can't spread. That doesn't mean that it isn't a concern. It's just that if you're the CDC and you go from, yeah, this is across the world, we're watching it, be careful. If you come down with any symptoms, get checked. It went from that to, you're going to die, stay indoors. And that they didn't give us any reason why. So people are questioning why the CDC's messaging has changed. And honestly, when you ask people on the political left about this, they go, well, the CDC's messaging changed because they didn't like Trump's optimism. Where do you think Trump's optimism on this came from? It came from the daily briefings that he had every morning from the CDC. So if the president was optimistic about the coronavirus, it's because his experts briefed him on it every single day and said it's not a big deal. We've got it under control. Everything's fine. Now, if that changes, all right, cool. But you've got to give us a reason why that changes. And the president's going to have a press conference at 6 p.m. today with CDC representatives to kind of explain what is actually happening here. And when we covered the last press conference that they gave about it, it was a pretty good press conference. They were saying, look, here's why it's dangerous. Here's why it's a global issue. Here's why the World Health Organization is very concerned. Here's why we're concerned. But here's also what you need to know as an American. This is not something that's affecting the country. It appears to be hurting people in the third world. People in the Western world seem to recover. The only people that seem to be at serious risk are the elderly who have secondary respiratory issues. And that's all being left out here. So, yes, it is absolutely a risk, and that's why I've been telling you about it on a regular basis. But the CDC hasn't provided any data that would seem to suggest the messaging change. So you're forced to believe a couple of things. The CDC is hiding something from us, Now, they could have their reasons for hiding it from us. They don't want us to know because they don't want to cause a panic or what have you. But your first option is the CDC's hiding something from us. The next option is this has to be motivated by some other reason, because they didn't provide any evidence to support the messaging change. None. So the CDC comes out with this right as the president is asking for $2.5 billion in emergency funds, which the CDC asked for. And he's outside of the country. He's in India when this all happens. And Chuck Schumer has a prepared media and political strategy ready to go for this. It's all too convenient. I've been in this business too long to not see patterns in this type of behavior. And I've been covering this for months. I've been covering it in great detail for weeks now for you. And we've known the president is getting daily briefings on this. And all of the people in the room are like, yeah, he's totally on top of this. This is not, he's not ignoring it. This is not anything that is, you know, in passing. He is getting detailed briefings on this every single day from the experts. Oh, okay. And the experts have been given every tool that they've needed to go ahead and do this. You know, you've got people running around and going, the president has ignored this. He's had a task force in place for weeks. It's a fully funded task force. He's been responsible for sending those experts across into China and these other countries to help combat it. So this notion that the president has been ignoring it and drinking Diet Coke and having 2 scoops of ice cream every single day while he has his steak with ketchup on it, the notion that he's been busy with that stuff is a flat-out lie. But they've succeeded in irritating or at least giving some people some faux outrage to run with. Can I just say this, and I'm going to get a little controversial on you. While everybody out there is super butthurt about the president and coronavirus because he misspelled coronavirus earlier today, can I just point out, in 2009, President Obama lifted the travel ban on HIV/AIDS positive individuals. Do you know what happened in the United States? HIV and AIDS surged for the first time in years, where it had been declining. All of a sudden, we had a bunch of new cases. Even had several immigrants arrested for intentionally spreading the virus in the United States. You had ISIS intentionally infecting people with the virus so they could go into the Western world and infect other people with it. Those are all real stories. And then you have Pete Buttigieg out there telling people that you don't need to tell your sexual partners you have HIV anymore. Where's the outrage about that? Oh, you're really outraged about the president of the United States using an A instead of an O in the first vowel of coronavirus. That's the outrage. But somebody actually leading to an increase in HIV/AIDS cases in the U.S., no outrage there. He's the coolest president ever. And somebody literally telling you you don't have to tell your sexual partners you have HIV anymore, that's not outrageous. God forbid somebody throw an A instead of an O in the first vowel of the word. We have more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Get breaking news text alerts direct to your smartphone. Details at 953mnc.com. Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Extended forecast brought to you by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Now, your home comfort experts heating.
Look, I mean, and here's the thing. You know, we went over this yesterday. The estimates are that China is 5 to 10 times worse than what they're reporting. So
Thursday night cools to a low of 18 degrees and is mostly cloudy overnight. Friday morning, we still could see a few flurries, but then the day is mostly
well, and that's just it, Alex. It's hysterical watching people bitch about the president using an A on it, and you go through and you look at it, and everybody's spelling it with an A. And they're not doing it as a joke. That's just how they're spelling it.
Late Sunday evening into early Monday morning, we could see some overnight scattered rain showers. Monday warms to 45 degrees and is mostly cloudy. In the ABC 57 First Morning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Macy Tutrick.
The top news stories.
Let me take this opportunity to thank the people of New Hampshire for a great victory.
Tweets made about the department make it impossible for me to do my job.
He was treated very badly, 9 years.
Well, I think the president should listen to his advice.
If we can't contain it, what are we going to do to try to slow down the spread?
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. your breaking news and weather station.
Hi, this is Dwayne Miller with Good Faith Management and Houses Cash.
God, there's nothing out of Milwaukee.
Call me at 574-294-5678. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy even more. Call me at 574-294-5678. I buy inherited houses.
That is so weird that so much information will be coming out about that, and then all of a sudden, nothing. It is so strange.
You own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying damaged houses.
Wendy, I have not seen the Bards of War thing yet, so I'll save it, and I'll look at the trailer later.
574-294-5678 for a cash offer today. That's 574-294-5678.
My pain was in my low back, and it was going into
Well, yeah, and like Pete Buttigieg, Pete Buttigieg was, basically, he was doing I think he was responding to that Guardian story, Alex, where he was telling everybody that, racism is wrong, which it is, obviously, but there was a big story in the I think it was the Daily Mail, and the headline was "Racist Attack" about coronavirus, and it was a story about a young woman who had been attacked and accused of being a carrier of the coronavirus. But when you read the article, it was I don't know if she's Indian, but she was there with a bunch of friends. One of her friends happened to be Chinese, and they were approached by a group of Asian men, and these Asian men were harassing this group of women all night. And the Asian men were the ones that were accusing the Asian lady of being a coronavirus carrier. So it really wasn't a racist attack, but they labeled it as a racist attack. So it's very strange how they're pushing this whole racism thing. I haven't seen a lot of examples of people who are Asian actually being attacked or harassed about it. I'm sure there's a few, but it's I don't know, it's all strange.
I was determined to create the most
no problem, Sonia. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it.
That contains no THC, and we did. CBD Labs is the highest concentrate full-spectrum CBD.
I'll have to double-check the CDC profiting on prevention thing.
To get a free bottle of CBD Labs and get our ebook on everything and anything CBD as your free gift.
Okay. I haven't seen that one yet, Alex. CBD oil. I said I'm sure there are examples of it, but you've got media running around and saying that this other story was a racist attack, but it was Asian guys who were harassing an Asian woman and her friend. So, they're going to hyperinflate this stuff and make it an issue.
For 16 years. Greg and I have been working together a long time, and every year there was a lot of excitement at tax time.
Yeah, that's right. We have so many vehicles, we are running out of places to park.
We have a tremendous offering of new Jeep.
Representative Amash is trending.
GMC models. We only stock the best and most desirable from these premium brands.
We have all makes and models of pre-owned vehicles.
Emmett Till Anti Lynching Act was just passed. Representative Amash, Massey, Gohmert, and Yoho voted against it. It was 410-4. And the thing is, it was making lynching a federal crime. Lynching is already a federal crime.
Many of us have been here for so long. We have customers that come back over and over for all their vehicle needs.
Can Justin Amash explain his reasoning for opposing anti-lynching legislation? Because it's already a federal crime.
You have to explain why. It's so stupid.
There's these 4 guys. There's an independent and 3 Republicans who voted against lynching. Why do you like lynching? It's already a crime. Why do we need to be redundant about it? If you lynch somebody, I assure you, you will be arrested and prosecuted for a serious crime. It's Is it extra murder if you lynch somebody and they die?
I guess it's just like
I mean, I don't know. It's so friggin' stupid.
I agree.
These people.
Maybe it's like for attempted lynching, making it worse.
All right, so I look up on Twitter and Representative Amash is trending. I'm like, that's never good. Let's look at what's going on here. So Congress just passed the Emmett Till Anti Lynching Act, which is a bill to make lynching a federal crime. It was 410-4. So Representative Amash, Massey, Gohmert, and Yoho are the only 4 who voted against it. So naturally, social media is full of people. Let's see. This one person. Can Justin Amash explain his reasoning for opposing anti-lynching legislation? Because it's already a federal crime, maybe? It's already a crime to lynch somebody. Now, in case you didn't know this, okay, go out before this law is implemented and becomes the law of the land, because it's only passed in the House. Go out and try to lynch somebody and see what happens. I'm willing to bet you get arrested and charged with a federal crime. I'm willing to bet. Well, maybe not a federal crime, but a state crime. But it's, lynching is bad. So I guess they want to add the federal aspect on top of the state aspect of it. Hey, killing people and attempting to kill people, because you can't survive a lynching, you're going to get in trouble for that. And Representative Amash and Massey and Gohmert, I don't know about Yoho. I don't know a lot about Ted. But the other 3 have repeatedly taken a position that we don't need redundant legislation. And if you lynch somebody, you're going to get busted. Okay? It's going to be bad. But hey, you go out there and pretend that they are all racist and don't oppose lynching. Lynching, by the way, happened a whole lot to white people and Hispanic people and Asian people in the Wild West. But, hey, you go on pretending that only one group of people were lynched in the United States of America. Anyway. All right, 574-25-95-95-3. That is 2595953. I only have a few minutes. I'm going to play the debate from South Carolina last night. Have a listen. You can't even really call it a debate. It was a shouting match, but have a listen to what the Democrats yelled at each other yesterday.
Progressive ideas are popular ideas, even if there are a lot of people on this stage who don't want to say so.
It adds up to 4 more years of Donald Trump, Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House, and the inability to get the Senate into Democratic hands. The time has come for us to stop acting like the presidency is the only office that matters. Not only is this a way to get Donald Trump reelected, we got a House to worry about.
If we spend the next 4 months tearing our party apart, we're going to watch Donald Trump spend the next 4 years tearing our country apart.
Because let's talk about what it adds up to. Well, we don't. Let's talk about math indeed. Okay, so here's the math. No, here's the math.
Excuse me, can I respond to the
doing nothing is what will happen.
Senator Sanders, you were allowed a quick response, and we would like to allow the other people.
Moderator, guys.
Sanders.
Can anybody in this room imagine moderate Republicans going over and voting for him? And you have to do that or you can't win.
No. Imagine spending the better part of 2020 with Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump. Think about what that will be like for this country.
You talk about what we're talking about with Bernie. Bernie, in fact, hasn't passed much of anything. The fact of the matter is...
But I get to answer that. I get to answer that.
Look, the fact is, here's the deal. I'm not out of time. You spoke over time, and I'm going to talk.
It matters. It matters if you can actually get things done. It is not just who talks the best, who actually gets things done.
Who funded Lindsey Graham's campaign for re-election last time? It was Mayor Bloomberg. And that's not the only right-wing senator that Mayor Bloomberg has funded. In 2016, he dumped $12 million into the Pennsylvania Senate race to help re-elect an anti-choice right-wing Republican senator. And I just want to say, the woman challenger was terrific. She lost by a single point. In 2012, he scooped in to try to defend another Republican senator against a woman challenger. That was me. It didn't work, but he tried hard.
I think that Donald Trump thinks it would be better if he's president. I do not think so. Vladimir Putin thinks that Donald Trump should be president of the United States, and that's why Russia is helping you get elected, so you'll lose to him.
And let me tell Mr. Putin, who interfered in the 2016 election, try to bring Americans against Americans. Hey, Mr. Putin, If I'm president of the United States, trust me, you're not going to interfere in any more American elections.
My entire career has been wrapped up in dealing with civil rights and civil liberties. I don't expect anything. I plan to earn the vote. I'm here to ask. I'm here to earn it.
I know that if I were black, my success would have been a lot harder to achieve. And I know a lot of black people that if they were white, it would have been a lot easier for them. That's just a fact, and we've got to do something about it than rather just demagogue about it.
I have a housing plan, and what it has
Senator
in
Warren,
it
thank you.
specifically is a
Senator Warren,
piece
thank
to
you.
deal with the effects of redlining. We can no longer pretend that everything is race neutral. We have got to address race consciously what's happening in this country.
See, all of these things are connected. Housing, wages, the ability to get anything meaningful done on criminal justice reform. All of these things are going to be harder to deal with as long as black voices are systematically excluded.
All right, just on that last bit, wages are up, homeownership is up, criminal justice reform is happening with President Trump. Just throwing it out there. And people are critical that he's been by the way, a lot of people on the political right are very critical of criminal justice reform. But people are critical. Why? Because he's been listening to minority voices about it. Buttigieg is pretending none of that's happening. But he's got a great record with housing justice here in town, doesn't he? Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. MNC. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel, and 95.3 MNC.com.
I'm Tommy Lee in the MNC News Center, and among this afternoon's top stories, that system snow is expected to wrap things up this evening, but Emily Kennedy at ABC 57 says the cold air moving into the area will create some lake effect snow for Thursday.
Lake effect.
Possible from lake effect tonight into Thursday, mainly for Berrien and Cass County, and then an inch just outside of that, including those of you in Mishawaka, South Bend, out towards Elkhart and Niles.
Hour 3, getting the show prep all CEAted.
Be sure to listen to Michiana's morning news tomorrow morning for everything you'll need to know on your way in. And the Michiana grandfather accused of dropping his granddaughter from a cruise ship window will change his plea to guilty.
Salvatore Anello was previously charged with negligent homicide following the death of Chloe Wiegand back in July. ABC 57 News reports Anello decided to change his plea one day after declining his right to a jury trial. The family's attorney says the decision was a difficult one for Anello and the family, but because the plea agreement includes no jail time, it was decided the deal was in the best interest of the family so they can get back to focusing on mourning Chloe. Anello initially alleged he did not know the window was open on the Royal Caribbean ship when Wiegand was dropped from the 11th floor. However, the line alleges Anello leaned out the window before he picked up the little girl and lifted her over a railing. Darren Wright, MNC News.
You can find the latest on these stories and more at 953mnc.com. Fox News, I'm Rich Dennison. President Trump is holding a press conference on the coronavirus in about an hour. This as lawmakers discuss the White House request for $2.5 billion in funding to fight the disease. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy.
I think $2 billion is a little low on the side. I think we're probably looking at $4 billion.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer proposing an $8 billion package to fight the virus, blamed on more than 2,700 deaths, mostly in China. A large police response in Milwaukee following reports of an active shooter at the Miller Coors Brewing Company campus this afternoon. This employee says they were notified of the incident by email.
Remain calm. There's a critical situation, active shooter on campus. Find a safe place.
Local media reporting a number of people were shot, but there's no official word yet on their conditions or the status of the gunman. America is listening to Fox News.
Weather sponsored by the Prime Table Restaurant, where kids love to go. So Mom and Dad bring up the Prime Table.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, first warning forecast.
Lake effect snow continues tonight. Will drop to a low temperature of 20 degrees and it will be breezy. The lake effect snow continues throughout the day on Thursday. Will warm to a high temperature of 26 degrees. We could see 1 inch of snow. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Macy Tetrick.
The Fox Business Minute, powered by AFDent Patient Friendly Dentistry, Michiana's most preferred dentist.
Alrighty, back to the chat. Here we go. Thank you very much, blogger. I appreciate that. Ugh. I'm sure Russia does love the attention. I mean, every time Putin laughs about it, and it's true, Wendy's pointing out that Putin laughs. He does. Every time he's asked about it, he giggles. I mean, it's hysterical. President Trump brought up a point a while ago, and he said, look, if the goal of Russia was to go ahead and sow discord, they've succeeded beyond their wildest dreams based on this. He's absolutely right. Ooh, Al's picking up pizza. Good for you. I'm still not hungry. I'm starting to get there, though. Third day on the carnivore diet again. Doing this cycle. Yeah, it was basically a shouting match yesterday. Take care, Alex. Oh, wait, no. You're saying bye to Al. Sorry. I thought you were saying see you all. All right. What do I want to cheat at about?
Comcast Business can help take your business beyond with amazing solutions and great deals. Comcast Business, beyond fast.
Man, I don't have anything on this friggin'...
It's been reported that over 60% of small businesses...
Here we go. Here we go. We got some updates now. 5 minutes ago.
We have a solution.
8 injured in active shooter at Miller Brewing. There we go. Finally have some updates on this.
No additional installation or updates needed. The security is built directly into your internet, so every connected device is protected from things.
ABC News has confirmed 8 people were shot.
And it all starts on the nation's largest gig speed network.
The suspect was fired earlier Wednesday, returned with a gun. The shooter is dead. It's not clear if the 2 dead include the shooter. So they're saying 2 dead, shooter is dead, 8 shot. Good God, that took for... I mean, it really didn't. It didn't take that long. It's just that there was this dry up of info. You know, it really hasn't been that long. It's only been like an hour.
Hi, this is Dr. Roger Pacino. Does this sound familiar? You have a toothache, haven't been...
They're reporting that he used a suppressor. Yeah.
You don't want to be pressured into dental work you can't afford, and maybe you're embarrassed about the lack of past...
Spaghetti tonight, then back to keto. Hey, you know what? If you use egg noodles, you're keto friendly with the spaghetti.
Today, no one should have to live in dental pain. That's why Aptent has an entire team dedicated to treating...
And look, if you're watching on Periscope, man, share this live stream every day. I want to build the Periscope community too.
Whether you have dental insurance or not.
Plus, I need to rebuild my Twitter since I only have 815 followers on the new Twitter account.
Here to listen and provide the right dental solution to meet your needs. Don't wait to take care of your dental pain. Call 1-800-TOOTHACHE or visit Aptent on Douglas Road.
Barbecue. Love my barbecue. Here we go.
Final Phase Electric Studios. From the first step to the final phase, industrial and commercial electrical done right. This is Casey Hendrickson.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do want to thank our sponsor, R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. You can find them online at rbcarcompany.com for special promotions and offers. We finally have some updates in the active shooter situation in Milwaukee at Miller Brewing Company. All right, so the police are on the scene still. The shooter is dead. The shooter was fired by Miller Coors earlier today. They returned to the campus with a gun. Again, the shooter is dead. 2 people are confirmed killed. 8 people are shot. WISN says that it is unclear if the 2 dead include the shooter or not. So we don't have any additional information on that. So it's still an active situation. And again, there's reports that a lot of the employees are kind of funneling into surrounding bars and things of that nature, trying to go ahead and figure out what's going on. Obviously, there's still some schools that were on lockdown, but the shooter is dead. The shooter was an employee who was fired earlier today, left, came back with a firearm. We don't know much about it. Do have a listener on the live stream saying that reports are that the shooter had a suppressor. Please keep in mind that this is a new and developing situation. It's only been going for about an hour or so. But again, I guess a little bit more than that. The call came in shortly before 2:15 p.m., and that would be Central Time. So 3:15 our time. So this has happened during the show. But again, the shooter is dead. There are 8 people shot, 2 people confirmed dead. They don't know if that includes the shooter or not. So that's the latest update on what happened at Miller Coors at the Miller Brewing facility in Milwaukee today. We have more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Biden is guaranteeing victory in South Carolina. Well. I mean, he's up. He's up big in South Carolina. He's rising and Sanders is declining in South Carolina. It's 31.4 to 20.6 in the polling. So he's plus 10.8. I mean, he's losing all of the Super Tuesday states, but he'll get South Carolina. Woo, Nelly.
We'll see partly cloudy skies throughout the day on Saturday. On Sunday, we warmed to 42 degrees, and we're mostly cloudy for most of the day. Late Sunday evening into early Monday morning, we could see some overnight scattered rain showers. Monday warms to 45 degrees and is mostly cloudy. In the ABC 57 First Morning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Macy Tetrick.
Hey, it's Casey Hendrickson on the drive home. Weekday afternoons, 3 till 6, live and local.
Hey, don't forget, everybody, you can get your Coffee with Casey mug. That is now available for sale. You can go check that out. Link in the description of this video.
Weekday afternoons at 5:50 on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
I think they're saying the lake effect is going to be about an inch. So the main storm. But I did see the word blizzard for Thursday and Friday. So who knows? Who knows? Biden is claiming he's going to win in South Carolina. But Biden has a 10.8 plus lead in the polling right now. But we also saw what happened to his lead in the polling in Nevada. He had a big lead in Nevada until the 13th. And the 13th, it flipped.
And click careers for more information. At HealthWin, they specialize in providing therapeutic, rehabilitative services and comprehensive skilled care for short and long-term residents.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. Again, link is in the description of this video as well. So, yeah. There it is. Dude, getting massive positive feedback about Coffee with Casey on the morning show. They're talking about possibly doing it in the afternoon, too. We just got to figure out where to put it. Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate it. So, yeah, do this one, and then I also have my logo mug. I might actually drink from my logo mug tomorrow.
The one that's broken?
The one that's broken.
Yeah. So while other companies might
my handle is broken. I need to get my own mug back. But Daniel was kind enough to do this up for me, and I really do appreciate it. So. Plus, it goes with the segment, you know. And for those of you who don't know, go to caseythehost.podbean.com. Go to the Coffee with Casey section. Those are 1-minute segments that air on the morning show, and they're water cooler topics. So a little bit on the lighter side, not heavy on politics, just stuff that you can talk about at the water cooler at the office. So the logo mug, that should be listed in the description as well, William. So if you scroll down for like merchandise, you should be able to find a link there to get it. Everything should be in the description of the video. Where to follow me, where to listen to the podcast, where to get stuff, my website, all of that. That should be there. If it's not there, let me know and I will get it to you. And the Coffee with Casey mugs are made by Daniel, who is a listener who owns a company here locally. So you're supporting a small business right here in Michiana by getting them. And that $16 is shipped, by the way. That includes shipping, which is not cheap. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Okay, let's take a look. Joe Biden is out there claiming that he's going to win South Carolina. So let's see what the RCP average says. Well, the RCP average says he's going to clean house in South Carolina. So
he's gonna win South Carolina in the national Senate race. Is that what's going on?
Yes, because Joe Biden is running for U.S. Senate. He actually said that we played the audio for you in the 3 o'clock hour today. No joke. He actually did say
I'm
that.
Joe Biden. I'm running for Senate.
Yeah, I have to ask for your help. I am Joe Biden. I am running for Senate. Oh my God. That was this week.
Yeah.
It was just this week.
Good stuff.
Yeah. As far as the Klobuchar controversy from earlier, I did, when I was replaying the audio, I was watching the video. You can't tell in the video that it's a box, okay? But because people sent me still photos before they walked up on stage, the thing that is the box is a different shadowy color than the lighting. So it looks like it's just her shadow when I'm watching the video, okay? So when I watched the video earlier, when I said she's not standing on a box, she's standing on the floor.
It did look like she was standing on the floor.
And I showed it to you. I showed it to Joe when he came across, and she is standing on the box, which is the same color as the floor, and the shadow that I saw, which I thought was her, was actually the box. So she's just standing on top of it, and so the shadow just kind of covered it up. So she was standing on a box. He's still not 5'8". Okay? At the end of the day, Bloomberg is 5'6", 5'6.5" if he's lucky. He's always been listed at 5'6". He is not 5'8". And I don't know why he cares anyway. By the way, I really enjoy this this trend that's going around of tall women sharing their pictures with their shorter husbands, boyfriends, and things like that. Good for you, ladies. There was that one lady who she's like 6 foot tall, and he's like 5'7" or something like that. And she's a knockout. I mean, she is an absolute smoke show. Good for him. And she called him a king, like she should.
Yeah.
So I like seeing that. It's, my wife, before she was pregnant, was taller than me. She was a model. And she actually shrunk like 2.5 inches after pregnancy. She was 5'10". She's not anymore. So she's just, sometimes you bounce back, sometimes you don't. And she didn't bounce back. So, for a while there, that was me. I've always had a thing for either really short or really tall women. Just my thing, whatever. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, again, the active shooter situation seems to be resolved. Unfortunately, we'll get more data on that over the evening. The press conference with the president should start soon. Here's Bill O'Reilly and the O'Reilly Update.
Bill O'Reilly here, Wednesday, February 26th.
All right.
Looks
like they pushed it back to 6:30.
Did they push it back? Okay.
What's happening across
Well, there you go.
So you might tweet that out.
Raucous Democratic debate in South Carolina. The DNC rebukes Bernie Sanders' comments on Fidel Castro.
All right. Okay, so the Teespring thing is busted.
Ooh, that's no bueno.
The CDC warns Americans
There you go.
to prepare for the coronavirus.
Why does it say available until tomorrow? That doesn't make any sense.
Obese states in the USA. Also, why did that debate last night get out of control?
Oh, that's the one 1024 the wake, too. That's a good mug. I want that mug. Yeah, I'll get into Teespring and kind of fix all that stuff up.
The 78-year-old senator facing tough questions.
Thank you. Hey, cool. Awesome. Enjoy the mug.
In proposed new federal
I beat the tar out of my mug, so.
Your logo one?
Yeah.
More on that.
It might have got thrown around quite a bit before it finally chipped on the handle. So, yeah, that's a fact.
Sanders, saying his comments on Fidel Castro, quote,
the Streamlabs one's busted? All right, I'm going to go through. I'll fix all of that crap. Streamlabs also did this thing where all of their stuff became like a premium service, and so I think they got rid of some of the features that they used to have for free. And so I've got to go back and take a look at all of it. What I probably should set up is some kind of a Patreon-esque type dealio, but not Patreon because they suck. The logo mug, wherever Teespring makes it, it shouldn't be printed in China, no. I don't know where the mug comes from, though. Yeah, I don't know where the original mug comes from that Teespring prints on. So I can't. But it's printed in the United States.
Which means they can claim it's made in the United States.
Correct. They can. But I don't know where the mug originally came from. Now, what I can tell you is that the Coffee with Casey, I don't know where the mug comes from, but that is made locally. So, if nothing else, it's printed locally. Daniel will be able to tell you where he sources them out.
Oh, no, they just come to my house.
I just order them. They're just a thing. So, I'll work on getting some of that stuff tightened up. I've just obviously been busy with personal crap lately, so I'll take care of it. But thank you for letting me know that they didn't work, although I should have known that because I should have been checking my own damn links. But I didn't. Sorry.
The worst places: Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Mississippi.
I like the 1024th Awake. I think that was a great slogan. And I'm going to probably find a way to put that on my coffee. My actual coffee that is in the process of being made. Yeah.
And the uncertainty of the upcoming election. Americans are looking for stability as a way to protect their savings and retirement.
What was that?
Getting the file set up so that you can record a liner about
the company I recommend in half.
What do I talk about?
They are A+.
What do I want to talk about?
Also, they make it simple and easy for you to invest in physical gold and silver.
I honestly don't know what I want to talk about
You get a free silver coin from my friends at American Hartford Gold Group. All you have to do is give them a call. 877-444-GOLD.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
444-GOLD. Call them now to claim your free silver gift for a limited time and tell them Bill sent you.
And then, I don't know if Speed's with us. I don't think Speed is with us anymore. I think he's in beta testers for the coffee. We have true story. We have 2 blends of coffee that Tacoa makes for this building. He switched one of them with mine, okay? Correct, because it's the base of mine. And then he's going to tweak it a little bit more based on my taste testing before. So, if you look at the 2 coffees that are available, the Ethiopian blend, which is really good, is still nearly full. My blend is almost empty. And he just filled it up, like last...
Yeah, I think
it was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. He filled it up, and it's almost gone. So, my coffee is doing really well. And I just had some guests from Southwest Vision today, and they also had a listener who's a customer of theirs, and they said that the coffee is friggin' awesome because they had the